I'm vengeance.
I'm going to check it whenever I do the post, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting better at the timing with that little startup thing there. So we're going to see. We're going to see. Welcome back, everybody. This is Mark 105 of the Super Civil Servants podcast. And my name is Greg, the Bat Daddy 52. And football season is finally fucking here. Oh my gosh. I was so excited for football season. I got excited for a Tampa Bay Dallas game. And it was a good game too. And I started Dak over Brady. So talking to you, Mr. Hines, playing you this week, Dak over Brady, and it worked out for me. So we're going to see what happens the rest of the year. But let's not talk football. Let's talk about everything else other than football. We're back. Sorry, we took a little break, but it's the regulars here. Sarah's with us. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm doing well. Yay, let's get into it.
I hear you. We got a lot to talk about this week. Yeah.
Yes.
I think, we're definitely going to cover the 3 weeks of the stuff that we have, but I think we're going to focus on the, this week, obviously, and then just, details about everything else that's happened between now and then. Joe, what's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, not too shabby. Had a busy week. I was off of work, but somehow I still had a pretty busy week around the house. So ended up tearing down the play set outside. That was both sad and satisfying.
Yeah.
It was just old.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to, man. This is weird. This is the second time recording with you this week, man. So it's a great,
it's good to see you again.
To have. Yeah, it's good seeing you again. But I'm still reeling off that Transformers movie. Can't wait.
It was pretty awesome.
I can't wait to hear the post on that one. So
middle of October.
Awesome.
Now that I have the date correct.
There you go. Looking forward to it, man.
Yep.
And joining us tonight, my boy Ross. This guy's been with me my whole life, basically. I don't remember a lot of my life without him. He's the guy in the chat room usually that's talking to us. So now he's here with us tonight to kick it and tell us what's going on. How you doing, buddy?
Doing fantastic, man. Glad to actually be able to sit and talk.
Yeah, we talked about it for a while because, you and I talk on pretty much a daily basis. We talked about it for a while and, I just left it open whenever you can. And yeah, I'm not going to lie, man, when you hit me up today and you're like, hey, I'm down for tonight, I was excited. So it's really, really cool to have you on, dude. We're going to get to it.
Everything else kind of pushed it back for quite a while. So now,
that's kind of the theme of this show, man, is life gets in the way, and we know that, and we try to just keep pushing on. So
yeah, because especially on my side, you never know if I might have a youngin' pop up or not. So I can't.
Yeah, and it's totally accepted here. Yeah, totally accepted. That's right. All right, well, let's get into it. We got some stuff to catch up on. We've been covering Stargirl. We've been covering What If. We've been covering what else? Lower Decks. We've been covering Titans. Yeah. So, you know what, Ross, man, I'm gonna throw it to you. Out of all of that, what do you want to start with? And since I haven't had you on or heard anything, just give me your overall thoughts on this show so far.
I think I'll start off with Titans because I think it kind of.
That's a good call. I was hoping you'd say that. Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that.
It came with an unexpected episode. I think whenever they brought in, just shifting it all to the backstory, I thought it was fantastic because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah,
and I was wondering where it was going, and it was starting to get to that point with me to where I'm watching it. And I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, I want to keep going, but you got to make me want to keep going.
Right.
So they threw it back, and I was like, that was a really good, interesting episode. And they turned around and did it again. And I mean, in all honesty, out of all the shows, it's the one that it makes me remember that it's Thursday. So,
okay.
I think they're doing pretty good.
Okay. So you're looking forward to what's going on. You're enjoying so far what's happening, at least enough to make you interested Thursday night to make you want to watch it. Okay. That's cool. Well, Joe, haven't heard from you in a while, man, about this. What's going on with Titans? You caught up?
I'm caught up. Actually watched yesterday's episode today. I am indifferent at the moment. Like, I'm liking what they're doing, but I don't know. The story is just, to me, it feels like it's all over the place. Like last week's episode was, Red Hood's he's the badass and he's gonna just say, F Crane, and I'm gonna do this on my own. And then this week it's like, nope, Crane's been the mastermind the entire time. You're just dumb. Like, I get what they're doing. And I like the storyline they are doing, but it just seems like it's all over the place. And I guarantee, as the season progresses, it's gonna all come together, and I'll look back on it and be like, "Oh, I see what they did. And I see why they did it that way." Especially with like last week, where was it, Tim Drake's family gets killed off,
Yes.
or cousins or whatever. So like, I know that's gonna be tying in sometime in the future.
I think, don't they kill his father too?
No, because he was staying with like his cousins or something, or his aunt and uncle.
Okay, so that guy they have in this is not his father.
I think something, I don't remember it.
Yeah,
It's been one of those where I'm paying attention but not paying attention, because
Yeah.
usually I'm watching it at work and I have to work, so I can pay attention a little bit. But then this week, I obviously
the only reason I'm concerned about that is because if that is his father and they just killed him off, it kind of messes up one of my favorite ever story arcs in DC comic with Identity Crisis. So but I mean, whatever. They don't have to
ever going to get to that part though. So
no, I don't think so either. They don't have to go by my rules.
Yeah.
So
they streamlined the death in the family so quickly.
Yeah.
Pretty sure that storyline with Tim and his dad is, one, probably not going to happen, and two, if they did, this maybe this is it. I don't know.
And if it ever did happen, it's a long way from now.
Oh yeah.
Probably not in this storyline.
They need a boomerang first, and then they need a boomerang son. Yeah, it's
true.
It's gonna be a while.
True. You're right. Very true. Sarah, what do you think? I know you messaged me the other day about, did you see Titans ? And I hadn't seen it yet, so I hadn't responded. So obviously you're liking what's going on. What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, I like this. I think it was to the previous episode, because like with the Lazarus pit, I was just like, what? I said, what? Hold on. Whoa. So you have like this little dinky pool just kind of like in the middle of nowhere that Batman just didn't happen to not know about.
That's one thing I don't think is true, but whatever.
But they're taking liberties. So I mean,
oh yeah, they have to.
And I'm just following this because I mean, I don't know the comics, because that was just the one thing that I didn't get into, but I know a little bit about some stuff. But I was just like, what is going on? Because I was like, okay, I don't know. It just had because with Lazarus Pit, I think, what was it? Green Arrow was like the only thing that I knew of.
Right.
Like when they brought Sarah back. So I mean, I was just like, okay, well, that explains a little bit. Because there was always that question, like, did he really get bludgeoned? And when you saw him laying on that slab, I was like, yeah, he got bludgeoned. He got messed up.
He did.
Yeah, he did. So
you know what's funny is with this episode, the Lazarus Pit, as I'm watching the entire episode, I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting for it and I'm waiting for it, and it's not until like the last 10 minutes that they don't even mention the Lazarus Pit. They don't mention it at all. They just show it. So if you don't know anything about it, you have no idea what's going on. It
was a real quick slide in.
And yeah, they may have. I may have missed it. Did they say something about it?
Like a funny thing. Yeah.
Well, Crane said something about Roz left us here. I thought, or maybe to say Batman didn't know about,
but not really. Yeah, but not really explaining what it is or what it
exactly.
does, type thing. Yeah. So I mean, I guess through logic you could figure out, watching the show, kind of what it is. But I noticed that the whole episode I was waiting. I was like, okay, this episode is named Lazarus. Where is the pit? They haven't showed it at all. And when they did, they just, like Ross said, just kind of glanced over it real quick. It was a real quick. He's in there. He's out of there. No explanation. No, nothing else about it. Maybe they'll talk about it again, but that was it. And I was like, interesting choice to name this episode Lazarus and not touch on that at all throughout the whole episode. So sorry, Sarah, I interrupted you. What were you saying?
That's fine. But I mean, I'm kind of, now Scarecrow was never really one of my favorites. I don't know, because the more I see of his character, I'm like, was he like just some stoner dude? He's just like living his best life, just kind of, it was especially evident in this past episode. But for him to be such a mastermind, and he's just so blasé about things, and I'm thinking, you really are scarier than I give you credit for. Because, to get into, everyone's head, and he's just so calm, cool, and collected. To me, that's scarier than like with Jason as Red Hood, because at least he does still have some emotion, like the anger and, like the revenge, that kind of factor. But if you have somebody that's that cold and deliberating, you're like, okay, I'm scared of you. I'm scared of you.
Yeah, and you know what's funny is Nathan I know has said he didn't like the Scarecrow as the character. I don't mean to be misquoting if I am, Nathan, if you're listening, but I enjoy this guy as character. I like the way he's portraying it. I like the way that the story's playing out with him. I like him being the mastermind behind everything going on. You know, I think they're nailing it as far as it goes. Like for me personally, I don't know. I guess if I in my mind, if I was going to be a villain, this is kind of the way I would be. You know, I'd rather be the mastermind behind everything than the brute force trying to take everything over.
There's
one thing
that DC does, it's pretty good, like with mixing up. I mean, the storylines, and they're able to actually bring out the characters in a different way each time. I mean, not to jump, but I mean, when you look at the new movie coming out for Batman, I mean, it's the same kind of thing. But with this, they do such a really good job of taking something that they've already shown on the big screen and done something with, and then just turn it.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing it in a pretty good method. I mean, for TV.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, similar to Ross's point, they have they're taking liberties with these characters, and Scarecrow, he has never been like completely the mastermind of a lot of things in the comics wise, but he has been right there when the plans have been happening. The one that comes to mind for me is when he teams up with Joker during Nightfall, and they almost take Batman down. This is in the middle of his gauntlet before he faces up against Bane, and he was help planning with his fear gas with Joker. Like he took Batman down. Like they actually had a good 1-2 punch on them.
Mm-hmm.
So seeing him here actually planning things, being super smart, which Jonathan Crane was always smart. Because he was so scrawny in the comics, he relied back more on his smarts. Which, I mean, if you can build a fear gas out of whatever, you're gonna be smart. Like, I mean, that's pretty great.
That's awesome.
Good job. That's awesome.
Yeah. I give him points for that.
Yep.
Sarah just knows. No. Yeah, I like the use of Crane in this. Like I said,
it's different. It's a different take, and that's not bad.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, I know we had the Dark Knight version of this, where we got and I like that it's very similar to that, which is fine because they're both very good versions of the character. But for me, I knew going in that we were eventually going to see, especially reading the comics, that we're going to see Red Hood as a good guy. He's going to come through in the end. He's going to be part of the team eventually, and you're starting to see that with Crane, emerging as the mastermind behind everything. The story getting there is a little muddy.
Yeah, eventually, like, how many episodes are in the season? Is it 13? Is it 10?
I am not sure, to be
totally
honest with you. I'll look it up. Yeah,
because I keep feeling like the Red Hood story was going to be over within like 4 or 5 episodes, but it seems here like it's going to be prevalent around the whole entire season.
I think that's why they did it. I think that's actually when they took the first couple episodes and they just shot it right out of the gate with Red Hood, but then they turn around, they give you a character study episode, and the whole point, I think, is them truly trying to prolong the story and, just like anything else, grow all the characters. I mean, between is it Fire and her sister, you got the two of them just sitting there trying to flesh out their whole entire thing. Connor's
and Blackfire obsession with Superboy right now. That's kind of fun.
So, I mean, all in all, how else do you stretch out a season of a show and when you're trying to tell, I guess, a story like Red Hood in your own way?
Yeah.
Well,
that's a fair point.
I'll tell you one way they can do it, which is honestly for me, the only disappointment so far this season is that I don't know anything about what's going on with Raven or Donna Troy.
And
like nothing at all. We've heard little bitty drops and hints here and there, but nothing else. And I'm wondering what the hell's going on. Are we going to go the whole season?
Honestly, it may be.
It may
Well, no,
be.
because we know Donna's coming back. She's been in the promos. Heck, if you look on the
Look on
HBO
Twitter.
Max on Twitter, but even if
Yeah.
you just look at when you bring up the episode standard without the background, it's got her in there in costume.
Mhm.
Like we know she's coming back. I mean, it also has Hawk and Dove, but whatever.
And it has Red Hood in the front too.
It's got Red Hood. It's got
Yeah.
Blackfire in their costume. Like it's got
Mhm.
all the characters there that's going to be in this season. So my guess is probably within the next couple episodes we'll get something with them.
Yeah.
Because I can't see the Red Hood and Scarecrow thing maybe being the whole entire season, but the Red Hood thing I don't think it's going to be the full season. Like I can see him stopping maybe around episode 7 or 8 and then disappearing till the end, to like season finale or something.
Well, I think with the emphasis they've been putting on it with Beast Boy and his doubts about him seeing the tape on the chairs where Jason was at and everything else, I think that you're right. I think it's coming to a close pretty soon. The Red Hood story part of this.
Yeah.
There are 13 episodes, so we're basically halfway through the season right now.
This was episode 6,
7, I think, or it was 6 or 7. Yeah, it was right there, right kind of in the middle. So we're right there at halfway. I think that the Red Hood storyline, as far as him being a bad guy, is coming to a close, and I think that within the next couple episodes, you're probably right. He'll probably disappear and come back.
Yeah,
towards the end. I think that's just kind of a trope. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm ready to see him as a good guy. I like him as the character Red Hood. I really do. I like the look.
Scarecrow's gonna be a B plot,
huh?
It could turn into a B plot.
Like a B plot. So I mean, him ruling the first couple episodes, and you think he's gonna be like the B plot criminal, and someone's gonna be pulling the strings behind it and coming back out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think is happening.
I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we're halfway through it. So I did want to ask a couple questions. What y'all think about Blackfire and her storyline, where it's going with this series so far? Is she going to be a main character we see in the future? Like she's going to be a part of the team now?
That's assuming we get season 4, so maybe. I mean, I think she'll be the main and for the rest of season 3.
Okay.
I'll admit, every time I think of the Blackfire Starfire team up, I think of either the cartoon Teen Titans, but then I always go to the Teen Titans Go and that dynamic of those two, and
yeah.
So yeah.
Well, my kids love that show, so I'm always going back to Teen Titans Go.
It really is a good show.
Well, okay, let me add this to it then, and Joe, just tail it off with this, and then Ross and Sarah, just add this to your little questions here. With the Starfire story, or excuse me, Blackfire storyline going on, do you think there's going to be season 4 based on what you've seen so far? Do you want it?
I mean, I always want season 4. I always want more of this stuff, but
okay,
it all depends on where the season ends.
So you think you think the ending of the season is crucial to them coming back?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Ross, what do you think, man?
I think if Titans has taught me anything, that the first and last episodes.
Yeah, exactly. That's the bad part.
yeah.
As far as Blackfire goes, I mean, she got a costume, so she's already ahead of a couple people. Is she going to be in the group? Her story, I think what I feel uncomfortable with is that they dropped it so fast, and then they brought her back. And when they brought her back, it just felt like, well, here she is. Like, here's your problem on the doorstep.
And we mentioned this before, so you can't get mad at us, kind of type deal, right? Yeah.
They
get that.
Season.
I don't hate it, so.
I'll say season 2 was setting her up to be a big bad for this season, for season 3. And then, nope, she was captured, and now she's just a dependent. And now Starfire has to babysit her.
Yeah, I mean, and there's always still the possibility of her being a big bad or turning.
Yeah, I don't know.
They
seem this last episode. It seemed like they kind of worked a lot of their grievances out. So,
honestly, for me, I don't mind that because I kind of like I like the idea of her being a teammate better than being a villain, and I like the dynamic between her and Superboy. That's
going to be fun.
whether they follow a romantic thing in there or whatever, I don't really care. I just kind of like the idea of, two aliens, that are kind of outcast from their planets, not really knowing anything about what's going on. She recognizes him as a Kryptonian rather than, just,
Human.
human. Yeah. And I wanted to ask too, I thought about this while I was watching. How come every other species, Martians, Kryptonians, anything else, their planet, you are of that planet, but Earth, we're humans. Like, why are we not Earthians?
Earthlings.
Earthlings. Yeah. Okay, Earthlings. Okay, yeah, I guess that's a good point. Earthlings. I don't know. It just sounded weird to me.
Comics.
Because we think we're the center of the universe. That's the reason why. So anything
every
or
comic
anyone
we are,
that
right.
comes to our planet, it's they're like you said, Kryptonian or
Revolver.
Camaranian or Martian. And
let's see. We talked about Blackfire. We talked about Scarecrow. Oh, let's talk about the Tim Drake, the small little Tim Drake. Okay, I got to quit saying Tim Drake because he's not Tim Drake. The Tim scene we
Tim
got
Drake.
here. Is it? Have they said Drake? Because I haven't heard say Drake yet.
I thought
I wasn't sure.
I was watching a lot of this at work, so I wasn't paying fully attention.
I could be wrong. I don't think they ever said Drake. I think they said Tim, but not Drake. And they definitely dropped hints at it being Tim Drake. The father of the cop, blah blah blah, all the good stuff. But, well, I guess he's not the father. We talked about that earlier. We don't know if he's the father or not. So
not the mama.
That's right. Ooh, we should have somebody cover that show one time. Let me call Katie. Katie. But yeah, so they had the small little scene in there. So what do we think about the twist? If that is Tim Drake, which we're obviously going to get him in the future somehow, way, shape, or form, with him now being in 2 episodes, a recognizable character. What do you think about the twist of like his father, his guardian being killed by Jason Todd, basically?
I mean, it was killed by things Jason Todd did.
Yeah.
I know it's
semantics.
Exactly.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. I mean, like I said, because once again, it messes up one of my favorite. If that is his father, it messes up one of my favorite comic book arcs there is in storylines. But once again, they don't have to cater to me. I get that. And they can always rewrite whatever they want to. I'm sure it'll
Why
work
not?
out.
It's not like they're catering to the regular audience. What? Oh, sorry.
But yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I don't know what's going on with this Tim character. If we're going to see him in the future, they're setting things up for more seasons to come. I feel whether we're going to get them or not, and I feel like we are. I feel like this season's been strong enough, even if they, tiptoe around or fall down during the finale. I feel like they've done a really good job of this season. It's of all the shows I watched today, the one that I was most interested in. I'm enjoying it. Let's talk. Did y'all have something you want to say about Tim Drake, Sarah Ross, or the Tim character?
I can't speak too much on that one. I'm just kind of along for the ride.
I hear you. Well, they've mentioned recruiting Robins a lot of times.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. We saw him in the files. We've seen him a couple of times now. I feel like it has to be Tim Drake. Last thing I wanted to talk about was the Oracle. Well, actually, not last thing. 2 things about the Oracle, bringing them on. The Oracle. We got to see a little bit of it in this episode. I know we were wanting to see Barbara Gordon. At least me, I was wanting to see Barbara Gordon in the suit because I feel like you're really missing an opportunity if you don't see that. We kind of almost did in her little kind of Catwoman type thing. At the moment when that was happening, I thought they were doing a Catwoman, and I was like, please don't mess up one of my favorite characters of all time. Please.
I'm really glad they did have Barbara's backstory. At least gave a little bit more. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was glad to see that, honestly, because I think it would have been I don't think it would have done justice if they hadn't. Because I mean, obviously she's still a badass, even if she's got wheels.
Hell yes, she is.
She proved that with Lady Vic. I was just like, oh, damn, lady, what is okay? All right. So then I was like, I would have seen you when you were 100% because you're still fighting at like 80 right now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, 80 is even giving it a plus without your legs. I don't know how.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean,
fight.
she was still pretty badass, and I'm just like, damn. So yeah,
I'm not
glad
gonna
see
lie.
that.
I was a little worried because I know that Titans, the stakes are a little different in different in Titans. And when that scene happened, I was like, oh no! I was like, don't kill off Barbara, please. We didn't get the flashback I wanted,
Mhm.
but I think it's still a possibility. We may
Yeah, because I
still
don't
see
think
her
that's
in the
out of the
suit.
realm. Yeah.
Yeah, we may still see her in the suit. So,
See, I
what do y'all think?
disagree. I disagree because when
I don't think we will,
Dick,
but I want
well,
to.
no,
We
no,
may still.
but
Yeah.
but what I'm saying is when Dick was trying to like recruit her, she laughed at the Batgirl possibility, and then even laughed even harder at the Robin
Girl.
possibility,
Yeah.
Robin Girl possibility. So, I don't think she's actually going to become Batgirl. I think she did the Oracle thing for a while, and now she's commissioner. So,
Well, but they've obviously laid out the storyline that Joker is the one who did something to her that put her
yes,
that paralyzed her, you know. So at some
but
point in time she had to be fighting. Or she
no,
had to
no,
be
no, no,
well,
no, because
she
in
you're
Killing
right.
Joke, she was just at her dad's
This
apartment.
is true. Yeah.
So,
This is true. Yeah.
slap you with that knowledge, Greg.
I know. Yeah. I just feel like I said, I feel like it's a waste if you don't see that at least one time. And I'm really glad. I'm really glad that whenever what it looked like they were doing a Catwoman thing didn't end up being, because I'm so tired of seeing this character mistreated or done wrong. Just put her in a damn Jim Lee outfit or what Michelle Pfeiffer wore, you know, and let her be Catwoman. Stop dancing around and everything. That's Catwoman. Period. Put her out there. Let's see it. I want to see it so bad. And yeah. Ross, thoughts?
I thought it was interesting that they actually even dove into the backstory as much as they did, because I didn't actually see them. I didn't think it was going to go that direction. But
Are you happy they did though?
yeah, I mean, I'm happy I got to see what I saw. I don't know. I just feel like sometimes when they put the DC stuff out there, there's no rules. Like with this, they really want to tell a story, but just like with anything else, they're doing like anyone else does, and they pick and choose what they want.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
I don't think we're all going to be happy, clearly, but I mean, at least you get to see something that you didn't think that you were going to see.
Right. That's a good point. Yeah, Titans definitely plays fast and loose with the rules of things, and we saw that. I'm thinking with the Lazarus Pit episode. But overall, man, this show's just it gets it done for me. I'm really enjoying it. You know, Ross, you said it makes you look forward to Thursday nights. I don't watch them as soon as they come out live Thursday nights unless I can. But usually there's football, so sorry, Thursdays is set aside for football. But
Watch them in the morning as soon as everyone's
yeah,
up.
yeah, that's a good idea. I could do that.
Watch them in the morning.
But yeah, this show of everything going on right now is the most exciting for me. I'm most excited for where it's going to go. I like the characters, the look, the style, everything that's going on so far. You know, the background story with Jason in the beginning of how he got to where he was getting with Scarecrow, I did enjoy that, because for me that was kind of a hole in the story. And I was hoping they were going to take at least one episode to fill that hole. That sounded funny. But but they did. They filled that hole for me. And, you know, I'm satisfied. Damn, that sounded even funnier. But but yeah, I'm enjoying Titans quite a bit. So I hope everybody else is. I think that we're looking forward to the finale. We're halfway there. So
Fingers crossed we got promise, because I'm like, you're going in a good direction. Let's just kind of focus. Let's just stick the landing. You know,
that's
just
the most important part. So for you then, Sarah, if they don't stick the landing, are you not in anymore? Is it done? Are you done?
No, I'm still with it. I mean, because if we suffer through the last two, I mean, you know, what's
Okay.
the third one?
Okay. I just
give
not
me a
heard
good
that
story
from some
leading
people.
up to it.
Yeah. I just heard that from some people, that if they don't stick the landing, they're done. And I'm just like, there's so much good content. You can't just throw away all this great content.
Yeah, but
you
it's
know?
like, I like the characters so much. I like what they're doing with them.
You can. You're right.
Finished. I've watched 10 seasons of Supernatural. I still haven't watched the last 5.
You know what? I've watched 7 Harry Potter movies. Haven't watched the last Deathly Hallows. So yeah,
Really?
you're right. I
Wow.
guess you can.
Wow.
Well, and that's not because I didn't like the first part of Deathly Hallows. I just never got around to the second part. Just haven't yet.
Clearly not a complete
I will.
Dude, I read that
I
book in
will.
like one day.
I was
Yeah.
like, to be
That's
fair,
how
I
much.
during the quarantine times, I finally got around to watching because I'd seen the first 2 Hunger Games movies. I finally got around to watching the other 2, so I get it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So
Well, I'm
I'm
just
assuming
saying
you like
it's-
the first 2 way more than the last 2.
No, I saw the first 2 in theaters, and then I wanted to watch. I was going to watch the last 2, but never did. And then I'm like, oh, I'll watch it eventually. Well, the eventually came last year. 8 years after. I don't know how long ago it was.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Well, I still haven't seen any of them, so
Yeah, you're not missing much.
What?
Read the books. Books are better, apparently.
I don't know. It just
Everybody
that,
says
it just didn't really appeal to me. I mean, everybody has their own, draws.
Well, since we're on the squirrel, speaking of books and just books being better, I know I sent this to Sarah and to Ross. Joe, I don't think I sent it to you, but I'm sure you saw it. The new Star Wars specially made game for PS5.
Oh, Kotar, yeah.
Yeah. I say, I wish I had time to game more. That's the only reason I haven't bought a PS5 is because I can't justify that much money with something I don't spend enough time doing anymore, gaming. But man, it'll be cool to see the YouTube cuts of the videos.
Yes,
of this game.
that's what I want to
Yeah,
see. I want to see the gameplay because it's. Oof.
But
Yeah.
it's sitting over there in the box still because I don't have room to hook it up yet.
Wow. Okay.
I also don't have any games to play on it. Like,
email for that one.
sorry. No, like, I don't have any games to play on it just yet. I've got the Spider-Man games for the PS4. Kotar would be the first one, although I mean Spider-Man 2, obviously, Wolverine, like all the ones that have just been announced. If they have a Last of Us 4 or 3 come out, or even an Uncharted 5, like I'm there day one, but yeah, I just don't have anything to play on it right now.
Speaking of the Wolverine, I wonder what they're going to do with that one. That one looks pretty cool.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you can't
I'll
really
play it,
tell
though.
because the way they've set it up. I mean, it looks cool, but I'm just like, what? Show me some gameplay. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
Well, and now that we're sitting here talking about this, I may be mistaken. Did you see the Star Wars snippet that I'm talking about, Joe? The what's the game, Ross? And it's not Bane. It's
Knights of the Old Republic. It's Revan.
Yeah, Revan. Yeah.
It's Kotar. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. Kotar threw me off. I'm
Gotcha.
not as knowledgeable about that kind of stuff. Yeah. So
Sorry, my bad.
no, you're good.
I'm not trying
You're
to.
good.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic are in this house. No one understands it. But you say Kodor, everyone's like,
It's weird, right? It's weird. Like
Yeah.
how? Okay. Yeah. I don't know.
Good.
generational, man. It's just
I'm
generational.
excited
It
for
really
it, like I
is.
said. But for me, it's going to be more of a. If I'm ever at somebody's house that has a PS5 and I could play it, that'd be cool. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to watch the YouTube cuts of the video shots that come out of
Yeah,
the
more than for that,
because somebody's going to beat the game and then put a movie
Oh, yeah.
together.
Within the first week, probably.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great movie. Probably something you should see in theaters.
Actually, be multiple because if it's going to be a true Kotar, you've got different paths to choose. It's all different storylines, different everything. So, yeah.
It'll be fun, man. I'm super excited for that. Well, I'm super excited for seeing that. Like I said, not playing it just because I'm out of that, man. Honestly, for me now, if I have time to play games, it's anything EA Sports or 2K puts out. Because I'm just a sports game guy, and I just bought a Nintendo system with 620 games. So it's Paperboy, it's Back to the Future, it's Contra, it's Ninja Turtles, Super Mario, something like that. Yeah, I'm doing Mega Man, I'm doing all that, Donkey Kong. Like I'm into that right now. So it's fun stuff. But back to the matter at hand. Do y'all have anything else you want to say about Titans? Anything that we haven't brought up? We just kind of summarized things we're liking about it. We haven't really broke down the episode, which is fine because we're a little bit late on some of these episodes anyway. But is there anything else y'all wanted to bring up that we haven't touched on or discussed?
Can you give me the crystal?
All right. I'll assume that's a no. Well, let's go ahead and move on then. So from Titans, continuing covering, we're halfway through the season. Let's see some Donna Troy. Let's see some Raven. I'll be a little more excited about that when we do, because I don't want them forgotten about. But we'll see what happens. They're halfway through. So let's move on to What If, because this is a series that's really gotten my attention. I think the Spider-Man trailer came out a few days before the Doctor Strange What If episode, if I'm not mistaken, because
Something like that,
once
yeah.
again, we're backtracking like almost 3 weeks. So I think that was the case. And Ross, I think I was talking to you asked me what I thought about it. And I had seen, even though the trailer came out a couple days, it came out a couple days after. No, before. That's right, because that's why I was so upset about it. You asked me how I felt about the trailer, and I was a little upset about the way Doctor Strange was in that trailer. And we'll kind of mix a little bit of the Spider-Man trailer into this too, because for me, that wasn't Doctor Strange. That wasn't something he did. That wasn't, based on everything you've seen from him in the Marvel Universe, that wasn't Doctor Strange. Then we got the episode. It explained it a little more because this is tied in, correct? This is all connected. Okay. So
Yeah.
for me, it explained it maybe a little more. I'm still kind of iffy on where they're going with this, but it's Marvel. I trust them. They've only kind of messed up one time, in my opinion, which wasn't a bad mess up. So what do y'all think so far? I know we're covering for What If right now. We're talking about the Avengers death episode where just all of them get killed, the Doctor Strange episode, and then this week's episode with the zombies. So we'll start off once again, overall thoughts on the series, and then just kind of go wherever you want to with that. And Ross, I'll start with you again, man.
From the first episode, that was pretty good. I think they played it safe clearly with the Captain Britain episode. But, like you guys have said before, the animation's fantastic. It's different. It feels weird enough to be awesome. They came out with the second episode I really liked. I thought that turning around the Star-Lord story into, essentially saving the universe one little deed at a time was actually really cool. The twist on Thanos was awesome, funny. How can you not enjoy that after everything that you went through with all the 20 plus movies that they had?
Right.
Mhm.
And let's see, they did, which one was after that?
That was the
After-
Avengers.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
Avengers
the
death
Avengers
episode.
one.
Yeah.
I liked it because it was pretty interesting how they did it to turn around with Hank Pym and make him so dark and everything else that was just. It was cool seeing Loki, who he would be in the position. He's like, there's a vacuum. Let me just go ahead and jump in that real fast. Turn around and just with everything that they've done with one simple episode to take out, the whole entire clique was pretty smart, and I bought it pretty easily. Doctor Strange episode, I only worry that they jump too fast with all of the new ways that they're going to spread the story out.
Okay.
With
That's a good point.
Loki, they're playing with Time Stone, and who knows now what the stones even mean or matter for. The thing is this had to happen at some point before then if they're going to stick true to this whole story. But with Loki, we know now that things are crazy. Who knows which way's up?
Yeah.
The zombie episode, our house has been talking about it forever.
You are a Marvel house. Just to let everybody know, your entire house, right, is an MCU.
Marvel and Star Wars.
That's right.
DC, baby. Anyway, sorry.
We try. We give them all an honest shot. But no, I think the zombie episode was a lot of fun. It was really, they saved the one good part of Ant-Man. Just the running motor mouth from Futurama. Why not? Yeah, that's what you get.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good time. It took a few people took some time for the people here to catch up on it, but everyone's loving it. So,
Yeah.
pretty much what I got.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm really enjoying the animation first of all, and the stories are really cool. For me, of all the Marvel shows, this is my favorite so far. I really enjoyed Loki. Every show's gotten better. It's made me more interested in the MCU. This is getting me more revved up for the MCU and what's going on. I am kind of murky on like at least my storyline of how they're going to tie this in, but they're smarter than me. I'm sure they'll figure that out. I do have questions about how T'Challa was Star-Lord in one episode, but he's Black Panther in another. Is this a different story or universe, or are they all?
Each one's its own
Mhm.
universe.
But they're all tied in,
They're
right?
I
Is
think
the
it's gonna be
idea?
more because of the multiverse, or actually maybe
Okay.
even just be the Watcher. Maybe the Watcher is what's gonna tie it all in together. I don't
Okay.
know. He's
Okay.
the only one
This
that's
is the real
actually
fun part too.
yes.
Yeah.
Save me! I don't think I will.
Nope, I'm out. Peace. You did this to yourself.
Yeah. Well, Joe, what'd you think, man? Just overall thoughts so far, and
Dude,
any
the show
ones you want to hit?
the show has been amazing. It's the first episode and the Avengers episode. So Captain Carter and Avengers were, and then even no, because this actually was different. Those two, you had the storylines of Captain America and then Thor and Hulk that they just did a little twist on to then make their stories. But then with T'Challa, Star-Lord, similarly, it followed some of the Guardians of the Galaxy, but then changed its own thing. With the Doctor Strange and the zombies especially, because it's working in with the MCU, but it's still its own story, and I really did like that. And then I know Ross, you brought up the Futurama thing. I couldn't see, especially when we got the cape on, could not see anybody other than Al Gore, but that's just me. And then the one previous, the I just lost it. Oh, Doctor Strange. Every time he's going back to try and save Christine, all I could think of was the Time Machine movie, the Guy Pearce Time Machine movie from
Mhm.
2004, and I'm like, okay, I've seen this before. No, okay. My girlfriend was watching it, and she's like, "Oh, great, another story where a female has to die to progress the male story. Wonderful." She
Love those fridge moments.
yeah, she was not too happy with that one. But no, the show's really good. I'm liking what they're doing with it. The animation I'm really coming around on it. I think I was okay in the beginning, but then kind of iffy at times. I'm used to it now. 5 episodes in, I'm liking what they're doing. I'm here for it. I'm interested to see what stories they're going to be converting next, and will we get a sequel to the Marvel Zombies? Like the ending had Thanos standing there in Wakanda. Like, are we going to see more of this in the future? Season 2, maybe, or more this season? I don't know.
That's a very, very good point. I'm wondering if they're going to do that this season, or if, like you said, if there's going to be a season 2, because they haven't announced that yet, right?
I thought they did.
Did they? I could be wrong.
I'm
Yeah.
sure they did.
Okay. Well, if there's going to be season 2, then yeah, just continue different stories you started in this one into season 2. That'd be pretty cool. Sarah, just overall thoughts. Anything you want to hit up on this?
Well, I'm just going to throw it out here. I did not like the zombie episode.
Oh,
I don't like zombies. I mean, it's to me now. I like Peter's little. I liked his little speech about how you're trying to keep up hope and all this, that, and the other. But I'm like, they're freaking zombies out here. If everybody becomes a damn zombie, then what the hell? I mean, seriously. But zombies, that's just not my thing. They've never been my thing.
Mhm.
So, it's just, I don't know. I guess it's just like the despair and like the whatnot, because I'm thinking, and especially Wanda, if you're as powerful as how in the hell did you get bit? I mean, couldn't you like zap them all out of here? I mean, seriously. I had a problem with that. I was like, as powerful as she is.
In my last few weeks watching Walking Dead as much as I did a few weeks ago, and the main characters being bit by zombies, it happens. Like all it takes is one mistake. Similar to how like, the statistically you get more accidents a mile from your house because you're comfortable.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
But
Here's
got
my
4
thing with.
rings now. He's died 4 times.
yeah.
They keep killing my man off without being a human.
Here's my thing with zombies. I'm not a horror guy. So my whole life I've just never watched horror movies. Just didn't appeal to me. Just don't care for them. I don't want the nightmares. I don't care about any of that kind of stuff, Like I'm sure there's cool stories in there, and there are. There are really cool horror movie stories, from stuff I've seen. I've recently started doing zombies. Watched Walking Dead finally in the last year for the first time. I love the movie I Am Legend, so that was kind of what got me into it. Zombies for me are kind of strange. What was that? Army of the Dead. I enjoyed the Army of the Dead movie, but I still have this thing in the back of my mind with zombies, like I do with the Flash in any story he's in. Like, can these guys really take over everybody? Like, is there really not like a few people who can really do all the headshots to take out the last zombie to stop the apocalypse? In my mind, it seems like while they would kill people and while it would be terrible, it seems like it's something that wouldn't take over the world. But Joe, you're right. It just takes one mistake, and that's all there is to it. Well, I just don't see it happening. And
I was going to bring up with The Walking Dead, like The Walking Dead is the people living because the virus is in them. As soon as they die, they turn into zombies. So like that's the whole point of The Walking Dead.
Okay, and that makes more sense. Yeah.
In that instinct, yes, that one's fine. Army of the Dead, that one's a little bit different because they kind of introduced the whole like sentient zombie thing. Like there's think of like Resident Evil.
There's more to that story though. We haven't heard all that story yet.
There's more. We got more coming. But like you think of like Resident Evil, where there was a virus that infected this building. Well, the building got out. Well, if people are shocked and surprised that all these things are attacking, it can spread. Yes, you're right. There's going to be somebody over time. The people on, as I've been watching the show for Walking Dead, everybody's doing headshots now. They've had 15 years to perfect being good at weapons. The early days, people are going to die like that. Like it's no big deal. But over time, you're going to get better. You're going to get more precise.
There's an interesting meme out there that basically says it's the Venn diagram of a national park guy. The education of bears versus the stupidity of people makes it very hard to design a trash can to keep everyone out. So you have to understand that you're dealing with a population here that isn't the brightest.
Yep. Ross gets it.
Very, very, very true. Yeah. Ross gets it. That's true. Yeah. And like I said, Marvel doing zombies. Okay. It's a cool story. I feel like with every show that's new, with animation that comes out, with Man of Tomorrow, with Invincible, all the new stuff I've been watching lately that has different kinds of animation in it. Even Attack on Titan and Demon Slayer. Yeah, like I see the animation, I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. There's no animation I don't like. I like seeing different takes on different things. So I feel like every time I look at animation, I feel like I'm saying great things about the animation, but it's because I love different kinds of animation, And this one is a more of a mix between kind of what Man of Tomorrow did and what you would typically see with an animation. I feel there's that stop motion comic animation, which is kind of borderline that. Which I really enjoy. Like I said, I'm always somebody pushing that Iron Man Extremis episode or series on Netflix a few years ago. I love stop motion comics. But I just feel bad because I always, tout about how great the animation is on all these shows, but I just love all different kinds of animation. I'm an artist myself, not a very good one. My daughter's a fantastic artist. But just seeing different takes on different things is great for me. And this show, like I said, it is my favorite so far of everything. What were we saying?
Visions. Star Wars Visions, man. That's the whole entire thing. I've been trying to push it. I don't know. Don't even know if you've seen it yet, but I keep trying to push you to watch it. Just watch the trailer.
Yeah. Here we go. Nathan says stop motion comics suck.
Nathan sucks. Just kidding.
He can't defend himself.
The animation on this is, I think, is awesome because it tricks my eye to where sometimes I really believe I'm watching live, like live action. So I think that's really cool. But and I've loved all. I've dug all the stories. Each one up until, like I said, zombies. That's my limit. That's my limit. I just swear it just.
That's fair.
Sorry, guys. I mean, that's just that's my
Once you
turn
die,
off.
stay
So,
dead.
Well,
I mean, you can like blow up the Avengers. I mean, you can like kill them all. Hey, that's fine, but I
don't
want
do
them
zombies.
dead. Don't
That's
bring
right.
them back because it's just weird. But I mean, it was cool. I mean, it was still enjoyable to watch because of the animation, even though I didn't really like the story. But that's fine. That's fine.
Well, and one thing I think that helps, it's got a great story. We're already entrenched in this Marvel universe. And we've all have different thoughts, but I think enjoy the animation. The voice acting also is great. The fact that they've got the characters who play these characters in real life for the most part to come back and play these characters as a voice actor is just phenomenal. It would be an injustice if they did it any other way.
Well, it's just like in this last one. I mean, that wasn't Tom Holland, but that whoever they had sounded so much like him. That's because Brian was like, "Was that really? That wasn't him." No, it wasn't, because I'll pause it so I can see who was who. And I think it's really great that especially with Chadwick Boseman too, because you're just like, oh, because you're like, it's like one of the last things that he did, and that's what's so poignant about it.
Well,
but
is he in any other episodes? Do we know?
I think 2 more. I think he
two
did
more. Okay,
4 total this season.
Okay, well, we'll get to hear him at least 2 more times. So, I got my wrong arm. There we go. This way, a Black Panther right there. That that's Clay did that one right there. Hang it up on the wall. Great art. All right. Well, is there anything else y'all want to say about the What If series?
Any idea what next week's going to be?
I don't like Joe said. I think that this the ending of this episode was very ambiguous as far as we can see more what's going on with zombies. We don't know.
I don't think it's gonna be zombies again, but they tend to reveal like Monday with the hashtags.
Okay. So you're kind of thinking that that's going to be season 2 if we continue this story to what's going on.
I can see it being maybe like later on in this season, maybe season 2.
Yeah. Nathan says, speaking of Injustice, the trailer got me ready for that movie. Is there an Injustice movie?
The cartoon movie, yeah.
Oh, okay.
It's the next one. It's the next one coming out from DC. I don't remember when. Either later this year or early next year.
I'm sure I'll see it.
That is something I want to deep dive on. I wish I need to put together some sort of plan to watch all the DC animated movies.
Oh, I'll give you a map. Yeah. I'll give you a map, dude. You're gonna enjoy it. It's a really fun ride.
So many other things, but I have not jumped down that one. I almost did years ago, like when I first enlisted, but I never made it to it.
Listen, dude, the DC for me owns the animated universe. Like DC animated movies are for me.
I don't know. I think Marvel's gonna start coming back around.
Gonna start. Okay, if they're gonna start, it's fine. But for now, and for the last 10 years?
Well, they definitely
DC's owned the animated universe.
Yes, when the animated ones started coming out, DC and Marvel were putting them out side by side. DC was definitely better, while still kind of bad, but they were definitely better than the Marvel ones. And then I think just before they did the New 52 stuff, Marvel was just like, nah, screw that. We're going to focus more on the live action.
Right.
And, kick that, out of the park. Hit
and
that,
they did.
Whatever. My metaphors suck.
And they did. Hey, I'm still a DC guy overall, but I won't say that Marvel hasn't done a great job in what they're doing. I really enjoy the Marvel movies, but any day of the week, I'll watch Zack Snyder Justice League over any Marvel movie. Just me personally, just because I love it that much. So there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, it's not talking shit about Marvel. They do a great job. Just DC guy.
There you go.
Look at the wall. So, all right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on then. I guess we'll talk about Stargirl next. Obviously, my favorite CW show right now because it's the only CW DC show that I'm watching. Even though I should be watching Superman and Lois.
Didn't that just end?
It probably did, but I should have at least been watching it while it was going on. I just
Well,
man,
now you can watch it on HBO Max when it goes on there.
Well, there you go. That's what I'm doing.
That's probably when I'm going to catch up on it too.
That was my
because-
plan.
I watched like
Yeah.
2 episodes.
Yeah. And that's a great show, but for me, Stargirl is the only one DC CW show that's got my interest right now. I fell off Supergirl. I fell off Flash. You know, obviously Arrow ended. I was never really into
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow. Yeah, so Stargirl's where it's at for me. These last few episodes have really, really taken off. When you can bring Jim Gaffigan in as a superhero, you're doing good things. You're doing good things. I like what they're doing so far. Really enjoying Stargirl. Joe, I'll start with you on this one, man. Are you watching Stargirl?
I'm caught up. I watched. Did I watch that one today? Yes, there's today. I can't remember the latest episode.
Right.
So far, similar to Titans, I'm kind of indifferent at the moment. I'm loving the show, but it's one of those like, okay, they have a slow progression. To me, I'm sure somebody else is probably like a better progression, but they how's the best way to say it? They're falling into the tropes of we know better than the adults because they're kids.
Yeah.
Like, oh, like it, and that's. I mean, it's a
I see
trope.
what you're saying.
It is what it is. Because Pat, now, mind you, Pat's not giving Courtney all of the information that she needs to have, and so she's getting it from other sources. But because of that, it's making them make the bad decisions, and that's storytelling for the show, and I'm fine with that. I just don't want it to be the entire season them doing that, like because they tend to get in a good spot where Courtney and Pat are actually talking and giving out information, and then there's like this week's episode, she asked Pat if there was any other information, and he's like, "Well, no, I've told you everything," knowing full well that he hasn't. So it's falling into that. I don't want them to fall into that CW trope that the other shows fell into. And it's starting to lean that way. It's not fully there because they'll never have, like, because the seasons are shorter, thankfully, it's never going to get that full CW tropiness, but they're leaning toward that.
Well, I look at it like this, as and I understand what you're saying, but still, they're still kids. I don't care what kind of powers or whatever, they're still kids. They still are in that
Sure.
bubble. And maybe that's what and that was kind of interesting when you had Pat and Barb. They're like, or especially Barb, she's like, well, do we agree not to tell them everything? I'm thinking, oh, well, wasn't this you like the first episode?
Yeah, exactly. Like, how are you this flippant so far?
You're cool with this now because you were so pissed off.
Your daughter, who's a superhero.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, Greg Berlanti's middle name is Filler, right? Greg Filler Berlanti. So, I mean, you got to put that in there. And with the way CW does it, you're right. It's got to fall in the CW trope, because if you're going to put that many episodes out in one season, which doesn't necessarily have to be, you've got to have the filler episodes in there.
But that's why I think this because last season was what 13 episodes. I think this season is about the same. Well, then last season was also on DC Universe first.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if they stick to that format of having smaller seasons, which I think every show should go to that now, we don't need 22 episodes anymore. Like,
yeah,
I get it. You want syndication, you want that money, but when you have filler episodes like Flash, people drop off. Like, I'm sorry.
It's like stay on topic.
And I love Flash. I loved Flash, and I just fell off that show, man. Yeah, that show like really spiked up really, really good at the beginning, and then after season 2, just every season started to decline.
I remember binging like the first 3 seasons, and I was like, after the 3rd season, I was like, you know what? I would be good with this.
Yeah,
I would be good with that.
If Barry would just get fast enough, that show would end. That's the problem. It just needs to get fast enough.
But he gets fast
and the show's so slow.
I just can't keep up.
But the CW, man, you know, I think that seriously, and some shows have got this. I think that you should be able that they should start aiming for people because this is kind of the viewing status or viewing way people do things now. You should be aiming to be able to binge a season of a show in 2 days. Like, I think the average person, if you could binge a season of a show in 2 days, that's 3 to 4 hours a day, which most people at night, if you start watching a show and you get wrapped up in it, whatever, I think that's the model they should shoot for, you know, because I think any more than that, you start to lose interest. It starts to feel like homework. It starts to feel like, you know, a what's the word? An obligation to watch to be able to continue what's going on. I think that if you can wrap something up nice and neat in 10 to 12 episodes and somebody can binge that in a couple of days, I think that's the model that streaming services should go for. Just me personally.
A lot of the streaming services are. Majority of them are going to the smaller episode count. It's the cable networks that are like, hey, you need to have X number of episodes because we need to just pull in that viewership.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense. It's like I was looking at all the streaming services I had the other day, and the biggest problem I have is not being able to watch live sports because I have everything. I have everything except for Apple TV, which my wife was looking at today, and she was like, "Oh, we should get that." And I was like, "Oh, awesome! Let's pay more money." Like we cut the cord, but I have every streaming service there is, so I'm actually paying more. I think in the end.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Bundling with
Yeah.
your services, man.
Yeah, I should. I'm
got
thinking about signing up with
Rising
T-Mobile
Covers
just so I can
half
have
mine,
Apple
18
TV for
service.
free. But you know, I'm pretty sure that I pay for Discovery Plus, but I haven't signed into it yet. So I was
See, one thing that's beneficial for me is I pay for Prime, Netflix, Hulu. Yeah. Then the girlfriend pays for Disney Plus, HBO Max, and Discovery Plus. My dad pays for Paramount Plus, and then all the other ones are free. So like Peacock, Tubi, Pluto TV, CW app. So I've got almost everything except for HBO or Apple Plus, Apple TV, whatever the hell it's called. But between the two of us, it's cheaper, but we don't have conjoined bills either. So like we're not married. It's better that way.
no, that makes sense,
Tell you
man.
right now, Apple TV has some good shows.
Oh, I know it does.
Look,
I know
keep
it
hearing
does.
that Ted Lasso is amazing,
yes.
and
Yes,
eventually
me
I'll
too.
get there.
Lasso is the best feel-good show on TV. I will
Okay.
tell you that right now.
Yeah, Chris Balga says that all the time too. Him and his wife
Yeah.
love Ted Lasso.
I am
So
waiting to finish. We just rewatched the first season, but I'm waiting for the second season to finish because what I hate is 22-minute episodes of shows, and so they do a pretty good job of stretching it out. But we can sit down and maybe squeeze in like an hour of TV a night, and that's something that we really want to watch. So I don't want to wait, for all the Fridays to pass to catch up. So I mean,
That's
they
fair.
had the physical. C was pretty good. The first one, the second one, I don't know. It looks kind of strange. But oh Lord, what was the movie where they go to the show where they go to the moon, but the Russians end up beating them there? That's really good.
Oh, is that
that
the
an
one with
Apple?
Steve Carell?
No,
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Netflix.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
It's the one with anyway. Either way, their shows are really good. The show with Steve Carell, the morning show, that one's really good too.
that's the one that's got me wanting to pay for Apple TV because my wife asked me, she's like, "How can we see that?" And I was like, "We can pay for another service."
That's what I said, Nathan.
Like, we can pay for another service, and so I mean, cool.
Tell you, man, bundle your services.
Yeah, I
Doesn't
need
have
to.
to
Like I
be
said, I'm thinking about signing up with T-Mobile just to get Apple TV for free. You know, just switch my cell phone service. Why not? For the hell of it. So
Dude, you literally only have to pay like a couple bucks, and you can watch all.
yeah, I
the
know.
shows
I'm,
that,
yeah.
then turn it off.
Yeah. So Nathan says that network TV is longer seasons because they're always shooting syndications and reruns. Excuse me. You don't get that almost ever without 100 episodes. Very true. Yeah, it's a good point. But I think syndicated TV, for the most part, is kind of going out the window, isn't it?
It's 'cause of
Kinda. Yeah.
Yeah.
the streaming services have kind of not really killed that, but it's more of a where can I watch it online? So
I mean, it's exactly what it is because Joe, we were doing Transformers. That's the first thing I did on Google. Where can I watch Transformers online? You know,
Yeah.
brought me up a bunch of different options. Went to one of the ones that I have that I pay for because I pay for all of them. And yeah,
there you go.
so
I mean, I had it on Blu-ray, so
right.
Peacock's the one that's kind of changed it. I mean, we watched the free channels on Peacock where it's just constant run of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
that's stuff on like when you're cooking or something. But we are also a big Parks and Rec house, so you know when they put all those seasons up on there, we would put that show on and just leave it on for days. I mean, the kids would come in, they quote it at the dinner table. But I mean, now you can only watch like the second season on there unless you want to pay for it. So
Yeah, Peacock has enough free stuff where I'm not going to pay for it. And I told myself a long time ago when I was younger, I'd never pay for the cock. So yeah, it's
That's now you always pay for the cock. What?
I'm gonna stay true to that. So, yeah, I do enjoy Peacock. Honestly, man, I've gotten Hulu. I bought it just so that way my daughters could watch a little more anime on it because they have a little more anime. I love The Office too. Don't get me wrong. That's my go to sleep show. Like Peacock has the first like 5 seasons. They only had the first 2 seasons for a while for free. Now it's the first 5 seasons. But Hulu, man, I've been going to that lately for stuff to watch. And started watching. Hulu's really, really impressive. I think it's the most impressive network that I pay for now, to be honest with you. I would say HBO Max, but HBO Max always dumps out on me. It pisses me off. But Hulu, man, there's some really, really good stuff in there. I'm hooked on Lego Masters.
Letterkenny was the one that pulled me to Hulu.
Was that?
Letterkenny.
Haven't looked at that, yeah.
Yes.
Not
just waiting for next season.
Okay.
Seasons of The Last Ship on there just for something to go to sleep on. And I mean, like,
dude, The Last Ship was such a good show. Wasn't that a TNT show originally?
I think so.
Yeah, I believe it was a TNT show. Oh man, that's such a great show. I fell off that show. It's such a great show.
When you watch all 7 seasons, you're like,
I fell off in like season 3. I definitely need to catch up.
The first 3 were okay, and then like you start watching the rest of them, you're like, oh man, this is why you should watch it week to week, because if not, you sit there the whole time and you get that didn't happen 2 years ago. Yeah. Last Ship is a really, really good. Look, Nathan's asked me if I ever watch any more Attack on Titan. I did. I think I've got like 6 or 7 episodes left in the first season, and then I'm going to start season 2. My daughters are on me about it too because they want me to finish watching it because they've both binged through it like 2 or 3 times. But yes, Nathan, I am trying to watch more Attack on Titan, and I'll definitely talk about it as soon as I finish it because I'm enjoying it. So, there you go.
Still haven't. Sorry, Nathan. I'll get there.
Nathan's testing us now.
I've been busy. I had to watch a week's worth of Walking Dead.
Ooh,
stupid people had to vote for it. Anyway.
All right. Well, let's reel us back in because we were talking about Stargirl for a minute.
We jumped far away from that one.
Yeah. Well, what do y'all think about Jim Gaffigan's character in this? Not a huge role, but really, really enjoyed it. For me, Jim Gaffigan's one of my favorite comedians. I'd love to go see him live, man. I'd love to meet the guy. I'm sure. No, I don't want to say that I want to meet the guy because Jerry Seinfeld's one of my favorite comedians, and I met the guy, and he's a fucking dick. So I don't want to be Jim Gaffigan because I don't want that to ruin it for me. So
I've seen Gaffigan live. I mean, it's no different than
listening to a podcast. Yeah, I hear you.
And I mean, I guess it was funny because that's when I was pregnant with Claire, and we're pretty much up close, and it's just like he's like right there. I'm thinking, okay, this is cool. All right, but I mean, it really wasn't anything different than.
Have y'all ever watched this show, the Jim Gaffigan show?
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Okay, it's kind of like the show Real Rob. I don't know if y'all seen Real Rob with Rob Schneider, where the character plays himself in real life type show. Okay. It's pretty funny. Like I enjoyed it. I think me and my wife got through the first 2 seasons of it. So, or at least I don't know. I can't remember. But it's an okay show. It's nothing I would like tell somebody they have to go see. But if you like Jim Gaffigan, you'll like it. I think that my favorite part of this most recent episode, at least, was the sportsmaster and his wife getting out to go see Artemis play football, and that was their only reason for wanting to be out. It was pretty cool. As a father, you obviously see those things, and you kind of can feel that way. But they broke out of prison to see their daughter do the tryouts, and then they wanted to go back to prison after that. And it's like, well, okay, like that's an interesting take on things, but okay, I see where it's going. Yeah. Look, Nathan says, I haven't seen any What If. I'm taking you off. You haven't seen any What If. Don't talk to me until you've seen What If, Nathan.
Wow.
I don't know why you have a ban on that show, but man, that is a really, really good show. It's the best Marvel show out right now. You need to check it out. You're going to have a good time. So he's going to binge it, I'm sure. So, but yeah, I thought it was interesting seeing that take on the characters where they're going to come in. I think that it's crazy we haven't seen any more about Green Lantern. For me, seems like a big character to have in the show, and we haven't seen anything about it. And yeah, but you would think that with the introduction of it, they would bring it back at some point in time or tie it in somehow, but they haven't. Like, no.
Pen. Should you be happy with Pink Pen?
That's true. We should be happy with Pink Pen.
I don't know if you noticed the stop sign callback.
Yep.
I saw all those stop signs sitting there.
And
yeah.
in the junkyard.
Yeah. I saw that.
Like, look, they're being connective.
I'm trying to think.
Well, can we at least talk about the visuals of Thunderbolt?
Yeah.
I mean, what was your first thought when you saw him pop out? I was like, oh, well, this is kind of cool. I mean, this doesn't look. I mean, what were your thoughts on that?
For a CW show, it was right on par. It didn't look terrible. It didn't look great. Didn't blow me away. But once again, when I hear Jim Gaffigan's voice, it's like, well, everything's out the window. So because all I can see is his face whenever I hear the voice. So, but I liked it. It didn't bother me. It didn't look cheap, which some CW stuff kind of does. It didn't look cheap. So I thought they did a good job. I don't think you'll see a lot of that character in the show, simply because it probably cost a lot of money to do it. And I think they would rather have quantity rather than quality with that character. So, what did y'all think about Beth talking to Dr. McNider at the end of that episode? Like, are we going to see?
Midnight.
Yeah, are we going to see some of these original characters come back? Because now we've got a reference to 2 or 3 of them that might still be alive and they're looking for. Like, are we going to get some of these original characters from the JSA and new JSA members on top of, what's his name? Star-Lord. It's not Star-Lord. Starman. Joel McHale, which we still haven't heard anything else about, which pisses me off because once again, that guy's a superhero. Cast that guy as a superhero, damn it.
He is. He was Starman.
He was. Yeah, you're right. But I want to see him more than 7 seconds of 2-3 episodes. So, but anyway, sorry, I just threw a lot of questions at you. Just thoughts on all that. What do y'all think?
It seems like the show is focusing on the new group, bringing back the old ones, which means there's only like at this moment that we know of, I can only think of 2 that are still around because everybody else is dead, I believe. Allegedly dead.
Well, let's count. We had Shining Knight that didn't die at the end of last season, right?
Oh yeah.
We had Shining Knight. We have Stripesy.
He was part of a different team. That was part of the 7 Soldiers of Fortune. He was part of the JSA.
Well, he was part of the JSA, but he originated. He wasn't. Okay, I thought he was part of the JSA, but he originated in the 7 Soldiers of Fortune.
No, so it was Stripesy and Star Boy or Starman, whatever they were when they were younger, were part of the 7 Soldiers, and that's how they knew. That's how he knew.
Okay.
Pat, and he helped out obviously there in the fights, but I don't think he was actually part of the JSA. But we got Dr. Midnighter, who's still alive in Shade, maybe?
In Shade, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
not entirely sure.
What
the Shadow Realm.
Yeah. Ooh,
Hell.
nice.
What it looks like, yeah. It looks like Hell from Constantine. Yeah.
And then Starman, maybe. Like, I'm not 100% convinced it's actually him just yet. But again, we've only had a couple seconds with him here and there.
Right.
So.
Right, which really like why are they like dragging this story along? And like I said,
they
for me,
can.
it's different because I want him to be a superhero. Like I want him to be a bigger part of the show. So I feel like I'm a little more drawn into them not having him in there as being a big deal. But I don't know. I didn't think that what's his name, the Owen brother or the Wilson brother, Luke Wilson, was going to do a great job in this role. But the more that I watch this show, the more I see that he's kind of a perfect fit for that character.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Daddy did.
just his mannerisms, the way he talks. I think that he's a perfect fit, much like his brother in the Loki show. I didn't think Owen Wilson was going to fit for that role, but
Mhm.
it works. You
Mhm.
know, they make it work, and it just shows what good actors they are.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm enjoying him in the show. Same with Amy Smart. You know, I've loved her as an actress. When I heard she was in the show, I was kind of wondering what it was going to be like. Her role's getting bigger. I think she's becoming more prevalent in the show as it progresses, which is good because I didn't want her to be like a throwaway character you see a few scenes of, and they're doing a good job with that. I think the interaction with Shade and her is really stepping her storyline up. You know, she's more than just an extra character in the show.
Yeah.
Seems like she always interacts with all the baddies. At least this one now, she'll know what's actually at stake versus just kind of feeling like, oh, you're kind of creepy. But, you know, other than that.
Yeah. Well, she's got the creep detector, you know?
Apparently so.
She knows when the creeps come around. She warns them. So,
Yeah.
what were you saying, Ross?
I said she needs to step her mom game up. I really feel like she's very disconnected for her mom.
Well, it's funny because I noticed in the show that she connects with what's his son's name? Mike Moore, and he connects with Courtney Moore, which is funny because it's the step parents connecting with the stepson, stepdaughter more, which is fine because you know there's nothing wrong. But I just in the show they push that relationship more. Like even in this episode where Mike is trying to build the getaway car for the JSA, and Luke
Station
Wilson
wagon.
wants nothing to do with it. She convinces him, you know, kind of gives him that nod, and he says, "Okay, well, we'll do this." It's almost like they have a connection, her and Mike, and then Courtney and Pat have a connection, you know.
Yeah.
And they're pushing that very hard in these episodes, which is great.
Well, and they pushed it a lot
Yeah.
in the first season too. It's
Yeah.
it's showing the dynamic of the family.
Mhm.
So, which is a good.
Yeah.
My only, I don't know. I really like the first season. I binged the first season,
Mhm.
and it worked out really well. I thought it was really cool how they were able to take the whole teenager thing and turn it on, you know, against grown adults who were part of the Injustice League
Mhm.
or Injustice.
Justice Society or
There you go, society.
Whatever it was. Yeah.
Too much philosophy right here. I can throw this out. But at the same time, like it didn't feel extremely forced. You know, I mean, like it wasn't like Power Rangers, some of the episodes where you got back to feeling like it was super forced because they were just like they have to win.
Yeah.
But the push to try to turn into the new Injustice Society is just turned into, I don't know, I feel like it's taken a while.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's maybe because the second season I'm watching week to week, it's taken a while for it. But I mean, I really like the first one, so I'm going to hang around and watch the second season.
Well, you're right. It is taking a little while to put the ISA together, but it seems like in this last episode, it's taken more strides than it has in the entire season. As far as you've seen her, at least in the last 2 episodes, collaborate with more people, actually get together with people that you see her trying to put together a team. I'm interested to find out what happens with I can't remember the love interest for Courtney, the painter.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're kind of leaving it out there whether he's going to be a good guy or a bad guy. He's going to be on one of the two teams. Like it's going to happen. It's just which team is he going to be on? Type deal.
Switcheroo.
That's the same difference with Mike because, like you saw that last scene.
Very true.
You know, you see this, what they're trying
Mhm.
to. You're like, that's going to be interesting.
With Mike, you just got to wait for that one moment where he feels scorned, you know,
Mhm.
and that's going to be the moment where he has his Jason Todd moment where he's
Which
like,
is
"Well, fuck
very
this."
easy
You know?
for him. Yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Well,
Very
Thunderbolt
easy.
kind of set it up anyways because, you know, one of the reasons why he chose him is because he felt alone. I'm thinking, okay, well, but then again, you know, it goes into that relationship that Pat and Courtney have. and they always seems like they're because Mike wants to be a part of it so bad. He's like, yeah, I'm finally a part, superhero, this kind of thing. And then, things happen, and because Thunderbolt was just so squirrely, and then finally had it taken away from him, and it's just like, okay, well, there you go, because he can't quite break into that crowd, break into that group of all the other superheroes, or of the kids superheroes.
It's like my stock; it just can't break that wall, man. If it would just break that wall, it would shoot up. I promise you, it would. It'd be great, but it just can't break
You
that
need to
wall.
invest in that
cock. But yeah, this is what I'm wondering is what we're building up to with the story. Like, the twist they kind of threw in there with Shade this episode, where they describe the difference between good or bad and evil, which is a great description of the two, because they are right. There is a difference between bad and evil. They're both terrible, and I wouldn't want either one, but there's a difference. And how Shade is not necessarily against them in this. Courtney wants to team up with him. And I don't know if it's necessarily because she believes that he's doing the right thing, but she's wanting to find out more information in this episode. And it's an interesting take on the character. I don't know where they're going to go with this. Like, do y'all think that that's really what Shade wants, is to destroy Eclipso, or to put him out of reach for everybody?
I think so.
Yeah? You don't think there's something else behind this?
Him telling Courtney basically what he said, that there's a difference between bad and evil, and I'm bad and Eclipso's evil. Who knows? Maybe there is, but he has been dead set on trying to get Eclipso. So maybe he is going to do something worse with it. I don't know. Me personally, I'm going to take it at face value of he's going to try to get rid of it.
Okay.
And then if I'm wrong, I'll eat crow. It's fine. Yeah.
I'm kind of with you on that. I kind of think that's the direction they're going, where eventually they're going to have to team up with this bad guy, and it's more or less going to teach them a lesson. I think this season is kind of on that with Grundy. Obviously, we haven't seen Grundy. We don't know a lot about him, but I have a feeling that by the end, they're going to find out that maybe Grundy's not as bad of a guy as they thought originally. They're going to start to get a more realistic take on the world, because they're growing up, they're kids, and good and evil is new to them.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that I'm interested to find out what's going on with Grundy, because, what did he get? Like 12 cheeseburger combos for him? Dude, I'm telling you, this guy is forking out a ton of money for Grundy. Like, Grundy better be appreciative of this stuff.
It's fine. I'm sure he's got inheritance somewhere.
Yeah, probably so. I'm trying to think. Beth is still my least favorite character. She kind of annoys me, but there's going to be something she does in this season that redeems her. I'm sure it's what they do with those characters. Wildcat story's kind of fallen off the rails for the last few episodes. They seem to focus on it really hard at the beginning of the season. There's a little touch on it towards this episode whenever Eclipso was giving them the visions of things that they didn't like when he was doing his thing. But other than that, they've kind of fallen off the storyline of her with this, and the whole feeling sorry for herself about doing what she should have done and killing Brainwave.
Yeah. Well, sorry. When she asked Mike about Icicle. Yeah. Because she thought he deliberately did that. And he was like, I just looked and he was there. She's like, you mean that was like an accident? He's like, yeah, I guess so. Then she has this look of like, like, oh my gosh, because I guess she thought that they shared that same, I guess, burden.
Mm-hmm.
But not really.
And like I said, it's more of a personal thing with me. I'm more on the side of the anti-villain, or the anti-heroes. Like, I'm the Punisher villain or Venom Batman fan guy. So my rules are a little less sturdy when it comes to that kind of thing. I think that's what she should have done. It's what I would have done in that situation. Not gonna lie. So I hope they don't have this fall into that trope of the typical CW show with the teenage angst, as Nathan likes to say, of her going through this the whole series. And they seem to have fallen away from that a little bit, which I'm enjoying, because I like her as a character. I just don't want to hate her as an actress, because of the role she's in, you know.
Gotcha.
But yeah, man, Stargirl's getting it done for me, man. I really enjoy this series. What year are they in high school? How long can they continue this high school story? It's got to be.
They're in summer school, so that's.
But it's got to be
different.
junior or senior year if they're looking at scouts for college, right?
I mean,
it's got to be
not
close.
necessarily.
No. I don't know. I'm just saying these kids can only look young.
So.
Yeah,
it's a nice Mustang.
I know, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't drive a lot of yellow cars, but somebody gave me that, I'd drive it. You know. And what's up with him just being a total dick to old boy? I can't remember his name. The painter son, who yeah, like why is he being a dick to him? Like what's the point?
Because he knows who his dad is.
Yeah, but so what? So what? You know a lot of stuff, man. I don't know. I just feel like I like him in his suit. I like his character as a superhero, but as far as Rick just being a character, sometimes he kind of bothers me, man. Like he's the kind of guy that I would just not get along with. Like I would talk to you and I'd be like, okay, cool. Like, you know, I'd maintain a relationship with you, but I don't really like you.
Well, I mean, he was the outside. Yeah, he was the loner outsider in the beginning that kind of got brought in. He's still technically the loner outsider. Now he's just part of the team.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, he gave that whole speech about trying to find Dr. McNider to Pat, you know, because Pat didn't really give two shits about it. It seemed like, to be honest with you, which I'm glad he gave that speech, but it's kind of out of character for him. It seems like, you know, I don't know. Like I said, I enjoyed the look of the character. I enjoy the character as Our Man. We'll see what happens in the future. I'd cosplay that. It's a badass suit. Like it's a badass suit. I love it. And that's one thing that the DC does is they knock the suits out of the park.
The costumes are on point.
They really, really are. Yeah. Wyatt, you have anything else you want to say about Stargirl? So you know, I don't know how many episodes we have in this season, but if I had to guess, DCCW, we're in episode 6 now, so we probably got at least 15 more episodes left and a break.
Pretty sure they're gonna stick with the smaller format. Let me double check that real quick.
I don't
That's
think
good.
The first season was that long.
No, the first season
was like 13 episodes, 10 episodes,
yeah. Yeah, and I hope it's where they go with this one. And I was just making a joke. I don't think they're going to be like 23, but we have known DCCW to make 20 plus episode seasons, so it's possible.
Season 2 is going to be 13 episodes.
Okay, that's right in the wheelhouse right there.
Season 3 has already been confirmed, so
nice. I like it.
Yeah, so we're almost halfway done with this season.
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're getting about halfway done with just about everything right now.
Yeah.
Going on. So
yeah, because you know what's about to start up, right?
All sorts of stuff.
Tell me.
Everything else.
The 23rd, we got Doom Patrol.
Oh yeah.
Which is really funny because watching the movie Blast from the Past this morning, which is a great 90s movie, and watching a very young Brendan Fraser, you know, I was talking to my wife and I was like, I just can't believe watching him in this movie now and then think about him as Cliff Steele in Doom Patrol. And she looked at me and she was like, he is that metal guy that cusses all the time, isn't he? And I was like, yep. I was like, that's exactly who he is. And she was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that now. I said, yeah, it's crazy looking at that, like Encino Man in this movie and just all the stuff he did when he was younger. And now Cliff Steele. Yep. You know,
in an alternate universe, he eats all the supporting cast to get that big for Doom Patrol.
Yeah, that's true.
I can see
that was the other thing I was looking at. I was like, wow, he was fit when he was younger. He's kind of let go a little bit as he gets older.
Yeah, but you know what? Wear it with pride, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Hey, why not? You learn it when you get older. So,
and that show's awesome.
Yeah, Doom Patrol's one that I didn't like through the first few episodes of the first season. I started to love it after I got past, I think, episode 3 or 4, season 1. Love season 2. Excited for what's going to happen next in that series. It's got me hooked. But I did not like it to begin with. Just goes to show you, you know, give stuff a chance. Same way with kind of Umbrella Academy. I think the first 2 episodes I didn't like it, but now, man, I love that series. I love Umbrella Academy.
Live and breathe Umbrella Academy, and I think that one of the cool things was that once Umbrella Academy ended, I steamrolled right into Doom Patrol because I'm pretty sure it was like right back to back.
There you go.
And I absolutely loved the premise of the first season and thought it was so tacky and wacky, because you just came off of Umbrella Academy, and they probably watched it like the whole season like 6 times. And I'm like, I would love for you to be able to watch Doom Patrol, but you're not quite there yet.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because anybody that I know that hasn't watched Doom Patrol, when I suggest it to them and I show them a clip, like, you should watch this show, I show them the orgasm scene from season 2 where the entire town goes through an orgasm. And I show it to them. I'm like, watch this and tell me you wouldn't watch this show. And they always end up doing it because it's a hilarious scene.
Wow.
But yeah, Doom Patrol, I'm excited for that, man. It's going to be a really, really fun one to cover. Trying to think. We have, I guess the last thing is Lower Decks. I did not get to catch up on Lower Decks.
Okay, this is where I'm going to peace out then, because
Okay.
I
we'll
still
start
haven't
talking a
watched
little
them
Star
yet.
Trek here. I hear you. Yeah, I'm definitely. I told Sarah, I promise you, I will catch up every episode by next week, and we will talk some Lower Decks because
Well, the cool thing about Lower Decks is like you can kind of watch it like an episode. You don't necessarily have to really like watch it in sequential order.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Plus, it's like 22-minute episodes, so you can binge
the
entire season in like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So
I'm really loving this season thus far.
I need to start it.
But well, all right, Joe. Well, if you're gonna get out of here, buddy, that's cool. Tell everybody where they can find you at.
Of course. You guys can find me on Twitter at _actually_. Nathan is shaking his head right now. I can feel it. You can find my show, Comic Book Rundown, on Twitter at Comic Rundown and on Instagram at Comic Book Rundown. And you can find my newest show, A Walk Through the Multiverse, which is part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network, at Walk the Verse on Twitter. And I think this coming week, I'm going to be talking Why the Last Man, the first episode of that. And I think going to do some Lucifer talk. I'm not entirely sure, though. So
Lucifer talk. Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fun show.
It won't be me talking about it. It'll be somebody else because I have not watched the show.
It's a good show. Check it out. It's a really fun show. But look, man, Joe, you're one of those guys. I don't care if it sounds dirty. If it comes out of your mouth, I'm going to consume it. So it's fun stuff. Y'all check his stuff out. It's really, really fun.
It's
Joe, thanks a lot for coming on.
Especially on Comic Rundown. It's just me and my best friend Ron. We just talk comics. Greg was on an episode for Rundown Reviews. Going to be coming up here next month talking about the Transformers cartoon movie from the 80s. Still trying to get. I'm gonna try to get Sarah. I'm gonna try to get you on at some point. We gotta talk behind the scenes. I'll figure something out for you. But it's just a show where friends come on. We talk about stuff. So it's great.
It's fun.
We have fun.
Yeah, I had a good time, and I felt at home like from the second
Well, it helps that we've had a repertoire
on.
for almost a year. We've known each other for a while. So
yeah. Really fun time. But yeah, Joe, thanks so much, man. Everybody check his stuff out, and Joe, we'll probably see you next week.
Hopefully. Yep.
Hopefully. I hear you.
It depends if I work or not on Saturday. So
I hear you. All right. Well, till then, man, keep pounding, brother.
Peace.
Bye, Joe.
All right. Now we'll dive into the Star Trek section of the show. So because I did not watch the show, I had kind of a backup for it because we can still do a little Star Trek here. Star Trek Day was this week, correct, Ross?
Yes, it was.
Yes. And I know you spoke with me about it, about the difference between Star Trek Day and Star Wars Day. And the vast difference in the two. So I want to ask you, Sarah, as my biggest Star Trek fan on here, did you do anything for Star Trek Day? And was it like something you set time aside for to do something for?
Actually, I know this is going to sound awful, but actually I didn't because I knew it was probably going to be a train wreck because they're just not very cohesive when it comes to really pulling everything together. A lot of times, a lot of stuff they talk about, I mean, yeah, they'll have panels, this kind of, this, that, and other, but I'm like, I want to know. The only thing I was really interested to find out about was Picard. And I think that's coming out, February 22? So I'm just like, that's what I want. And Discovery, I don't know. Did they mention anything about Discovery? Did you watch that, Ross?
I did. So
Did
they're
they say anything about Discovery?
November, the end of November, I think, is supposed to be Discovery season 4.
Yeah. So I mean, that's kind of what I'm interested in. I mean, I would love, seeing like the other characters or like other casts and all this kind of stuff, but it's just totally different when you're talking like Star Wars versus Star Trek.
Yeah. Well, it's a different crowd, and I've said it on here. Never a Star Trek fan growing up. Probably should have been, because they have some great stuff. Watching the older movies, especially with the new Calvin timeline stuff. Just getting into everything, especially with you now, Sarah. Star Trek is great. I just never gave it a chance because when I was younger, my stepdad told me Star Trek was dumb. Star Wars is great. Don't watch Star Trek, so I didn't. And it's just the way it
Shame
played
on you.
out. Ross, I know you've been a Star Trek fan, most of your life, right?
Yeah, I was.
You're a bigger Star Wars fan, I know, because you're one of my OGs for Star Wars knowledge. But
Star Wars was my sick day thing as a kid. I mean, any single sick day, you could watch a Star Wars trilogy, and I had it timed perfectly
yeah,
to where you could wake up, go back to sleep because you knew that you were sick. Watch the first one, eat lunch, go back and watch the second one, pass out, wake up again, have a snack, and you can play Return of the Jedi before dinner. So-
look, Ross had the absolute coolest room growing up. He the
high
basement
school.
was his room in high school. Yeah, the basement was his room basically. So you could go down there and you could turn all the lights off, and it was pitch black. I mean, couldn't see your hand in front of your face. Put it on a Star Wars movie in a pitch black room, like with no other sounds around. Man, it was so awesome. Really,
that
really
was
good
the
time.
weirdest thing that ever happened in that room.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, nothing weird ever happened in that room other than that. Yeah.
No, but my dad was enormous on TNG. I watched it countless times. I've never watched it in order. It's something I always kind of wanted to do, but then it's a daunting task when you look at it. I remember watching new episodes of Deep Space Nine with him, and then it'd always be on like TV, like on Saturday or Sunday, when we'd hang out at his house. Um, I think we went to theaters to see
What
all
what
of the movies.
like the Next Generation movies,
Yeah.
like Generations, First Contact, and all that.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, yeah. I mean, I remember sitting in there, watching the ribbon go across the sky, being like, "Oh, this is like time travel. This is kind of cool."
It's the Nexus. What are you talking about?
The whole entire thing. No, but I ate it up. I always loved Star Wars, but that was still a time to where they weren't even talking about it. The dark times before they were going to release anything else. But Star Trek was definitely a thing that I grew up with and loved, and I absolutely loved the Calvin timeline. When it was 2009 when they came out with it, I think that was one of the last movies I saw with my dad, and him being such a big Star Trek fan, it was like really cool to have that memory of like the last thing being that movie. The other ones have been really good. I stayed up. I was writing a paper when Star Wars or Star Trek Day started to kick off, and I've never been to a Star Wars celebration, and clearly there's a Star Trek Day this year, but there's not going to be most likely not going to be another Star Wars celebration for a minute until all of this stuff fades away into the dark. I don't know what it is. Will Wheaton I was sitting there the whole time and I'm like, come on, Will. Come on. Just try a little less corniness, dude.
Yeah.
But that, and they're sitting there looking at their phones, reading the live tweets and stuff. And I'm like, you need a little bit better production quality. But they released some awesome stuff. I mean, I haven't gotten around to watching Discovery Season 3 yet. I watched the first two. Binged the first one right before the second season came out. The new spin-off show that they're doing with all of the original, like, way OG characters of, they were on, like, a couple episodes of bringing back Uhura. I mean, all of the shows they're coming out with look pretty good, not to mention the new seasons of shows they're coming out with. Can't remember the name of that other show.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know. I've sucked lately about trying to keep up with stuff. I mean, seriously, it's just been crazy.
I know the animated show is Prodigy, and
Yeah.
I haven't watched Lower Decks as much as I haven't watched it at all, but I really wanted to. Once again, the Paramount Plus thing just doesn't work out very well for me. Um, but Prodigy, they even said it while they were reading the live tweets. It had serious like Star Wars Rebel vibes, and it looks totally interesting. And I think it'd be great for kids. You know, Star Trek doesn't have a whole lot that really sucks the kids in, and that's pretty much the market they were hitting with this one.
Well, that's the fun thing about Lower Decks is because it's like you said, it's not your typical Star Trek because you have some that are diehard. They're like, this is not Trek. I'm like, yeah, it is. But what I love about it is all the callbacks and just the mentions of especially any of the Next Generation, because especially this season, thus far, oh my God, I have been loving it. Loving it. I mean, it's just Greg, I know you hadn't seen this one, but one of the last scenes in this bar, you look and you see that ship. That was Cochrane's ship, like the first warp ship, because it was like sitting right there. I was just like, look at that. That's this. And then it's like the last time we talked about Lower Decks, I could sit there. I could literally tell you the 2 Next Generation episodes that they're basically, referring to as far as, especially with Boimler's twin and, oh shit, what was the other one? And I think with the Darmok, that kind of thing. So, I mean, it's just really fun to just kind of bring back, and even having Riker. And I mean, I bet fell out when they had Tom Paris. I'm just like, finally, because Voyager, that's my jam. I mean, I love Voyager. Anything Voyager, I love Voyager. So, and even I think when they were docked at that space station, I swear I saw Voyager sitting there. I could have swore I saw it docked up there too.
Did
but
you
it's
watch
just
the trailer for Prodigy?
I haven't yet. I haven't
So
yet. And then
Janeway's in
Strange
that
New
trailer.
Worlds is the other one, isn't it?
Strange New World, yeah.
Yes. So, but I mean, that's one thing I liked about Discovery too, because it kind of gave. I know I'm jumping around, but like with the episodes of Discovery,
You can't
especially
help
the
but
last, I know, like the last, like season 3, or either even bringing in, another, almost like another rendition of Spock with Ethan Peck. So I'm thinking, this is really cool. But like I said, what I'm really looking forward to is Picard. I just love the idea of that particular series because it's, like I said, it's not a regurgitation of the Next Generation.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's darker. It's a little more grittier, and especially how it ended to going into this next season. I'm really curious to see how that's going to be taken into effect, if he realizes it or not. But then you've got Q. You bringing Q back into it because I mean that's all another Next Generation staple, because you're like, oh my gosh, anything with Q is just Q and Picard is just, oh my God, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Now Q and Janeway is pretty cute too, but it's always been Q and Picard. And then you're going to bring back the Borg, because you see the Borg Queen. I know there was some discussion about that. Who is? I don't think it's was it Alice Krieg? I don't think it's her. I think it's like another actress. But I mean, just bringing. That's what I love, because you're just bringing back all these small little details, these small elements, and it's not really playing into like a past story. It's actually going into a new story. So that's what's really fun about it, because it's a connected universe.
Well, it's funny because for you, it's a universe, like, and for a lot of people, it's like that with Star Wars. It's very similar to like somebody like, say, Ross watching Mandalorian, and what you get out of that show because of the little things you see that the average person that watches it can't get, but still enjoys. It's like me watching Star Trek. I can watch Star Trek and enjoy it, but I don't get the things that you guys get, or you might necessarily see you're getting from that show. And they put those things in there just for people like you, and it's great. I love that because, like I said, I wasn't a Star Trek fan, but now that I'm getting into it, we did. What was the second Star Trek movie in the Calvin timeline? The
Beyond?
the remake of Wrath of Khan, basically. Into Darkness.
Into Darkness.
Into Darkness, yeah. We did the review of Into Darkness, and before that, Sarah, you told me you're like, you have to watch Wrath of Khan before you do that. And I was like, okay, cool. Old movie. I'll watch it. Watched it. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. And I was like, oh man, this is cool. Like, it's so cool to have a different universe for me to dive into that has such a vast knowledge and like everything going on. There's so much to learn. And it's still like that with Star Wars. I'm still learning new stuff with Star Wars every day. I considered myself when I started this podcast like a C+ level Star Wars fan where I knew more than the average person, but I wasn't like super in depth. Now I feel like I'm like a B+ in there, you know? And with Star Trek, I'm getting to like that C+ level now where I can hear things and be like, oh, I know about that. Oh, I know about that. Okay, cool. Definitely want to get more into Star Trek. And you know what, Sarah, I actually thought about you. I'll share this with you. I was at the pawn shop the other day and I saw this. Let's see if I can put it up here. Yeah, this should be it. This is this guy had all these for sale, these VHSs. This is all the Star Trek television shows on VHS and the Next Generation on VHS. And then he also has this one. Like he showed me the Star Wars that he had, and he had like 7 different trilogy sets, and like 3 of them were different ones that I'd never seen. Like there were 2 of them that I owned, and then there was one that I'd never seen before. And it wasn't one of the ones before it was digitally remastered, but like it had a Stormtrooper and the Emperor, and I can't remember who else was on the third one. Like, because you know each VHS has a different picture of who it was. I'd never seen that before. Like I have 2 different versions of the VHSs, but I'd never seen that one, and I almost wanted to buy it because he was selling for like $6, but I was like, nah, I've got enough, and I'm never gonna watch them again. But he didn't have any of the ones that everybody looks for, the ones that are not remastered that you can't find anywhere. Because if he'd had those, I would have bought them for sure. But yeah, he had a ton of Star Wars stuff, Star Trek stuff. We were there because my daughter has a record player and she has a hard time finding records. And he had so many records. We were finally able to get her a whole bunch of stuff, and she actually is starting to like 70s and 80s music, which is great. So yeah. I like it. It's pretty good. Man, I'm telling you, dude, she's finally starting to appreciate really, really good music, and I like it. Not that I'm not talking shit, not saying music nowadays is garbage. It is. But, you know, there's a lot of really, really great music throughout the times people should listen to. Every generation has their shit list of music, but every generation has their great list of music too. And she's finally starting to get into that, and I love it. And on records, nonetheless, which is phenomenal, you know? But yeah, I just want to show you that. I thought about you.
Yeah.
I think I may have already sent you that too, hadn't I?
I don't think
Did I send
me
a picture? Okay. Yeah. Just a ton of Star Trek stuff. And I was like, oh, she'd love this. You know?
I'm at this point, like I said before, we moved up here to Raleigh. When we were back in around Greenville, they had a antenna. It was like a broadcast antenna. It was called I think Heroes and Icons. And every night they would show, starting at I think 8 o'clock, the original series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, and then it would like Enterprise, and then some nights they would end with Xena. So I was like, I would stay up like all night. I'd end up waking up on the couch like, oh my god, I can't. It's like I can't not watch.
Yeah. Well,
I've seen every episode, not of the original series. I haven't seen every episode of that, but of Next Generation, Voyager, because sometimes you get bored. You just especially now that it's on Paramount Plus, you just turn it on and just let it roll.
I can almost guarantee that if I like one night I was just because me and my wife, whenever we're looking for something to watch on television, we'll just turn on a network and just flip through stuff, find something, and just we're gonna watch this, we're gonna binge it. Just we'll push through it if we like it or not, and just because there's so much stuff out there. I'm almost willing to bet that if I did that with any Star Trek show, I can get her interested in it, because she's the kind of person that if I can get her interested in it in the first 20 minutes of the show or the movie, she's hooked. So what I need to do is get her into some Star Trek stuff, and I need to myself.
Well, I will say, especially if you watch the Next Generation, I can't remember how many episodes there are, but there's a very definite difference from the first season to the last season, because you can even tell, because like the uniforms evolve. Picard has a little less
Sometimes.
hair. I mean, there's just you can always tell like the vintage episodes versus the newer
Right.
episodes.
It's like I tell people with The Office: get past the first season.
Mhm.
Get past the first season, then you'll love it. I promise you. And you can still love the first season, but get past the first season, you'll love it. And it's like that with a lot of shows. They have to have their footing. Very few shows hit the ground running and just blow you away right from the beginning. There are some, and I love those shows, but I feel like I would almost rather a show start slow and pull me in than blow me away at the beginning and end disappointing. It's like setting the bar too high at the beginning sometimes.
Yeah,
Some shows.
exactly.
So,
Well, it's just like Enterprise. I enjoyed Enterprise. I mean,
I've never watched that one.
I hated the very last episode. I hated the way they ended it, and I will admit I hated it because I'm like that was bullshit because I think they ended it too early. It should have it would have been worth another season, but I think the popularity just kind of fell off because I want to say, oh God, I can't remember what network it was on. Was it CW? I don't know. It was some obscure network it was on.
that was back before streaming.
Yeah. And I mean it was because the way in the timeline, the way it goes, Enterprise was before the original series. Because this was when they took the Enterprise, was it an X01 or whatever? It was like one of the first ones because you had Archer, which Captain Archer, he always liked watching, I think, water polo or something crazy like that. And that was when they were first started working with the Vulcans. So really the only thing, and this was like really their first exploration into past our current galaxy. So it was really interesting them meeting because it was really more about the first contact,
Right.
and it was really really cool because when you see like the original series, I mean some of the species that they come across, I mean they already had some knowledge of them, but with Enterprise, it was like completely new, especially when you meet Shran, the oh gosh, I can't even think of what he is, right? The Andorian. Oh my God, I love him. That's Jeffrey Combs. He's the one that's been like almost every single type of character in every single series, especially like because he's been in I know Voyager, I think Voyager and a lot of the other ones like DS9, Voyager, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
But I mean he's been a lot of different characters.
Okay.
So but yeah, Archer and Shran is like a really fun one that, if you ever do watch Enterprise, that is a pretty fun one.
So let me ask you then, sir, as a person who has a slight bit of Star Trek knowledge, I've seen the new movies, I've seen some of the old movies, and bits and pieces of shows, never probably a full episode. Give me a start point. Get me into the Star Trek universe. What should I watch next? Like, it doesn't have to be the very beginning. It can be if it's the best point to start. But give me a start point for something I should look up and start watching to get into the Star Trek universe.
I think Next Generation's a good one because it's almost like it's super long now. I'll tell you.
Is that the one with Whoopi?
That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's Guinan.
That's the one with Whoopi.
You got her in there, but I mean, you got Picard,
you got Data,
you got Riker, you got Data, you got LaForge, you got Council.
So I'm a little knowledgeable about that one. I could go into that one, I think, with a little bit.
So that one might be one where that's a good starting point because it kind of does lay a lot of groundwork because a lot of folks, I mean, that's kind of what they start with. I mean, granted, you do have the original series because you have the original series movies, like the Star Trek, the original Star Trek movies. I remember, oh Lord, I probably watched the first Star Trek movie like maybe last year sometime, and I'm thinking, ooh, it's come a long ways.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still cool. I mean, it's still cool. So I think once you get like a ground,
4K.
Yeah, because I mean, once you get a groundwork on that, then you can kind of start working on everything else. But you don't necessarily have to watch every episode.
Right. It's one of those things you can jump in at any point in time and probably feel comfortable with it. But you say Next Generation, season 1, episode 1. That's where I should start.
Yeah, I would start with that because that's oh shoot, what's that? Farpoint. I think that's like one of the most, I guess, known ones because I think it's a two-parter episode.
Okay.
So yeah, I would definitely start there. And then, like I said, you can kind of skip around a little bit. You don't necessarily have to watch it, in sequential order, because some episodes are better than others. So I mean, it's kind of because there is a little bit of filler in some of them, and some
Well,
of them
you
you're just
get that
like,
with every series.
yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a
So.
reason it's been syndicated for so many years. So,
Mhm.
but
What do
I
you think,
would
Ross?
definitely start there.
Okay. What do you think, Ross? Do you agree? Is that a good starting point?
Yeah, I mean, it tells so many stories. I mean, there definitely is filler. And I think that one of the biggest things is that it holds up well enough that knowing, especially like what TV was like whenever TNG was actually kind of out, you know what to expect, and you can look past the things that probably the original series won't give you. But it tells such a great story, and then you can steamroll right into just about anything else. You can clearly pick up on the divisions of the uniform changes, on the personnel changes, and all that kind of stuff. I would say, I mean, a lot of it is supposed to be sequential order, but I don't know if they even stick to that. I can't remember. But it's a perfect drop in point.
Okay.
I just will say, I will
that'll
say
be the
there's
start
there's 7 seasons.
How many
Start rewatching.
episodes?
Yeah. I could take
There's
on the
7
task.
seasons.
Yeah, I've still got to watch Thundercats. We still got to get on that. So my list is getting longer every day, but it's something I definitely want to get into. Like I said, I've enjoyed everything Star Trek I've seen so far, so I have no reason to believe that I wouldn't enjoy anything else that I watch with it. I was wrong. I should have watched it when I was younger. I'd have felt better now, but
Someone led you astray.
I do it.
I said someone led you astray.
I know, right? I think you tried to get me to watch some Star Trek when you were younger, and I was like, nah, I'm good with Star Wars. That's enough Star stuff for me. So, all right, cool. Well, that's really all we had tonight. We had a little Star Trek corner, but I'm going to get Lower Decks watched, and we will discuss probably season 1 of that. The whole thing for what's going on next week. The other show is going to continue. They're getting right into the meat and potatoes of what's going on. It's the middle of the season for just about everything we're watching. Ross, you're welcome back anytime, of course. Sarah, I'm sure you'll probably be here every week. Joe, drop in. I'm surprised Clay hadn't dropped in this week. This just shows kind of an open platform for everybody to come hang out and talk about stuff they like to see. But we're going to continue to do it.
Did you get around to watching the Matrix trailer?
I did not get around to watching the Matrix trailer. You know what?
I was told about it.
Do y'all want to watch the Matrix trailer right now?
It's really good.
Sure,
let's do it. Let's do it. We might get taken down, but it's not like it's the first time that's happened. So yeah. Apparently YouTube is apparently YouTube is watching me. So actually, you know what? I did see some stuff about the Matrix trailer, Ross. I saw some pictures. Let's see, Matrix.
You can totally watch it after and discuss next week. I just didn't know if you finally got around to it.
Oh, you brought it up. Now we got to watch it.
I sent it to you.
Now we got to watch it.
Like I said, I was told about it, so I haven't seen it either. So.
Oh, hold on. I got to pause it. All right, here we go. All right. I got to escape that real quick. All right, let's share it. Let's watch the Matrix trailer quick. Get some thoughts about that because that's a great idea. Great way to end the show. So share screen. Let's share this one. All right, y'all see it?
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's do it. Here we go. So we got Doogie. All right, so Neo doesn't remember.
Mm-hmm.
Trinity's alive. Is this the Wachowski brothers or sisters, or I'm not sure what they are now?
Elena.
Is it the same thing? Is it them? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive when I said that, but I really don't know. Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Apparently it
Wow.
is. Just saw the name. So.
I just love Keanu coming back with all of his known parts.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I love Keanu coming back
Yes.
too. It really is good. Yeah, I could deal with a Speed remake, to be truly honest with you. Like, give me a replacements remake. Keanu Reeves is one of those guys. I just like him in movies.
I mean,
like
I got my Ted back, and now we're getting Neo back. So I was like, what?
Are we gonna get Constantine? That was the question. Like, I want him as Constantine.
Ooh, yeah.
Okay, so this trailer has done a really good job of not letting me know anything about what's going on. It's got some really cool scenes in it. And it's The Matrix. So I'm going to watch it.
You gotta listen to it.
But I almost like that from a trailer.
Yeah, it's like, don't give too much away.
Yeah, like I don't know anything about what's going on right here. And once again, it's a movie that I'm sure if I dug deep and I started looking at stuff, I could figure things out. But I kind of want to go into this with my knowledge of The Matrix that I have right now. And that's it. And then see what happens from here. Because for me, the Matrix movies are ones that I absolutely love. I know that, it got a little corny with the graphics and the storyline, maybe a little, in 2 and 3. But I love the series. I think that Ross, what were we like freshman in high school when this first one came out, something like that. Like it
99, I think.
Yeah, so yeah, like freshman high school, 8th grade, something like that. Like we were right there. And it just blowing everybody away. You remember everybody had those Nokia 8290s and where you could change the faceplate. Everybody had one. You could play Snake on it. Like
We
and you
watched the first one.
Yeah, and you had the slide down faceplate. Yeah.
Yep. And so I was trying to describe that same exact thing. I'm like, you don't understand how hard we tried to duplicate that. To be cool.
Well, they made those, but they weren't as cool as they were in the movies. Remember, because we had them. But when the piece slides down, that piece is not for you to talk with. It's all for looks. So, but it was the 8290, man, the Nokia 8290. I remember that.
The movie was transformative when it came out with all the screenshot or all the camera shots and stuff they did, the camera angles, and the
groundbreaking.
I mean, it was fantastic. And I think that I even had to preface it before people were watching. I'm like, you got to understand, like, the first one tells a great story, and it left you on such a cliffhanger that when the next two came around, you're like, what happened? Like,
I agree.
Where are we, and where do we go?
Mm-hmm.
They did a great song choice for the trailer. I think it looks. When I was watching it, it reminded me of what I thought of the first time I saw Altered Carbon. So the first season of Altered Carbon is one of my favorite shows. I think that it was fantastic. I love Kinnaman. I think he did a fantastic job. And when I watched that show, I thought that would be an awesome take on telling Matrix stories, because you could take Neo and just keep waking him up in different time frames, and he would be all over the map, but it would still be Neo trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know if you remember the plot of Altered Carbon, but it was essentially a guy went to sleep, and then he wakes up in a sleeve in someone else's body. And I thought that was like, this is how they should do the Matrix. And watching this trailer kind of had that vibe a little bit. Clearly, Keanu can't keep doing it time and time again, but this seems like a great reincarnation, depending clearly on how they manipulate the story to really bring him back.
All right.
I guess.
Well, for me, give me more Matrix. I love the story, but it feels like they wrapped up the third story pretty nice and tight. You know, if I'm remembering it correctly, like the story comes to a pretty good ending. So I don't know where they're going with it in the future. You know, and like I said, it's the Wachowskis. They've done a great job so far with the first three. You know, people can say what they want to for number 2 and 3 because they definitely tailed off from the way the first movie was. I'll give you that. But this is kind of my Green Lantern stance. I don't care what nobody thinks. I like those movies. You know, like I'll watch them again. The story was there. They may have kind of gone off a little bit with the graphics, the action scenes, whatever, but the story was there, and that's what I'm looking for in the movie. You know, so moving forward, I'll obviously be in it because it's The Matrix. It's Keanu Reeves. You know, I love him as an actor. I just don't know where it's going, and I kind of like that with this trailer. I like the fact that I see now there is definitely something in production. They're definitely doing something. Like I see it's happening. I see the scenes. I don't know what's happening.
Job bringing it current. I think
Yeah.
that's something that I think that's. I mean,
That's
you
a
tell
good
little bit
point.
More whenever you see it, but I mean, it definitely feels like it's more current.
It's a very good point. Yep. So it's definitely got my attention. It's definitely one that I'm gonna go see. I still think that I might try to go see Shang-Chi in theaters this weekend. So like you know, as far as being my first movie back to theaters, I don't even know when it's coming out, but it's one that when it does come out, I'll probably want to go see it in theaters simply because I love the other Matrix movies and I never saw any of them in theaters. Not a single one. Yep, not a single one. So I think they would do it justice to do this. Now, once again, I played the game. You know, I don't know if y'all played the game on, I think it was Xbox. Whenever I had an Xbox playing that, story's pretty crazy there. I don't know if they're going to go in that kind of direction with the storyline, but that game I think also came out before the movies series ended, so it was a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, it's the Matrix, man. Like it's the first time anybody's ever dove back and dodged a bullet, or you know, grabbed the sliding cell phone. Like it's for me, it's part of my culture. It's
And in the trilogy, isn't it on HBO Max right now?
Probably.
I think it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I actually that's one that I'm proud to say that I own that trilogy. Like, you know, like I'll always have the hard copies of that one.
Do you have the 4 movie set?
I don't. No, I just have the 3 movie set.
The animated cartoon.
Oh no, the Animatrix. Yeah. No, I never actually don't think that I've ever watched that to its completion. To be honest with you, I think I've seen parts of it, but I've never actually watched the thing all the way through. Was it any good?
I've seen it once, and I'm pretty sure I saw it when it came out. So
yeah, so probably not that good then. I guess
that I can't tell you.
I hear you. All right. Well,
I mean, that in stride. I think that. I mean, you said it perfectly. I've come to a point to where I can't watch a trailer and sit there and pick it apart. If I pick it apart, either I watched it way too many times, or I've sucked all the fun out of it.
Right, you might ruin the movie for yourself. Yeah.
Yeah. When something comes out, like when I was texting you about the No Way Home trailer coming out, I only watched it like once or twice, and
just watch the trailer because everything else, wait for the movie.
And that's the thing.
I just want to have a good time, and if I don't, like it, oh well. But at the same time, like if I like it, I don't go rubbing it in everyone's face. I'm just like, hey, you gotta check this out.
Well, and that's the thing too, is it's so different than when we were younger. Like when we were younger, like if you happen to catch a trailer on TV, like during a commercial, you caught that trailer. Now we know a movie's coming out years in advance. When the trailer drops, we get an alert for it. We go online and look at it. Like it wasn't like that before.
And you can
before, like you may have seen a trailer one. Yeah, you may have seen a trailer one time for a movie and be like, oh shit, I want to see that movie, and that was it. That was all you knew about it. Like what you saw in that trailer. Cool, let's go see it. Now it's so different, and it's bittersweet, man, because it's really cool to have that knowledge, but at the same time, I feel like sometimes it ruins my experience going into the movie. And I've gotten to that point where I'm just watching what I see, what they put out when I hear about it, and then when I see it, I see it. And
it's just like explaining to
them.
my kids. It's like, you know, they don't understand the concept of actually, if you didn't get up Saturday morning to watch, I'm gonna say, for example, He-Man, that's it.
You missed it. That's right. You missed it.
So
that's exactly right.
You better get it together.
Mhm.
Get up when you're supposed to. You better go to use the bathroom during the commercial breaks because otherwise you can't rewind it. And my kids don't quite understand the concept of a commercial. Like we'll watch, like we're watching football, with commercials. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? You're gonna have to wait. Can't fast forward that one.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was watching something on Hulu the other day, and we were watching it with commercials, and it went to commercial. My wife said something about it. She was like, "God," she was these commercials, and I was like, "Really?" And I was like, "Have
Do
we
you not
gotten past that
remember?
point?" I was like, "We grew up with commercials. We'll be okay. Like in 35 seconds, you'll be back to the show. Don't worry." So yeah,
It's crazy.
times
I
are
have
changing.
an ad blocked network, so I mean, like my network blocks half of the ads for us, and so like the kids don't even have to watch like half of them. But at the same time, it's always the same conversation. I guess I gotta sit here and wait. Like, yeah,
You're like,
yeah, you do.
y'all just don't know.
And you
just
know
don't
what?
know.
For everybody, everybody that says that, I tell them because I'm not on Facebook, but as everybody knows, Facebook is free. And people are like, "Oh God, I hate watching these ads." I'm like, "Well, you could pay $3 a month for that and not have those ads, or you could just have it for free and wait 35 seconds."
Mhm.
And people are like, "Oh, well, that's a good point." Yeah, of course it is. They have to pay their bills somehow. So
Yeah,
if you
exactly.
want it free,
Nothing for free.
yeah, if you want it free or you want it cheap, there's gonna be ads in there. Period. Just get over it.
Suck it
You
up,
know?
Buttercup.
I know. Do like we did back in the day. Okay.
Right.
Hello.
That's right. That's your bathroom break time.
Yeah,
Unless it's Super
exactly.
Bowl. Super Bowl's the only time
Beast
you watch
Wars.
commercials. So
Watching Beast Wars in the morning, timing every single step in the morning on the way to school. I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna go fix my hair real fast. I'm gonna go brush my teeth real quick.
that's right.
And I'm gonna time walking out the door perfect. As soon as it's over, okay, I gotta go.
See, this guy was on my schedule because we went to the same school. So yes, Beast Wars came on before school. So you woke up in the morning and you watched
I
it
watched it
before
in
you went to school.
afternoons.
Yeah. So
I watch in afternoons.
yeah, Ross knows. He knows all about it. Actually, dude, what was it? We had years where we carpooled together, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where one of our parents took us in the morning, one of us took us in the night, or picked us up. So yeah, we were definitely on the same schedule. Yeah.
8th grade up.
Beast Wars in the morning. Which, by the way, man, when Beast Wars comes out, the newer one coming out soon, dude, you got to cover it with me or talk to me about it. I'm sure you will. So
Thought it was gonna be live action. I've been doing all this training.
you can't do a live action Grimlock. Come on now. Rat Trap. Come on now. All right. Well, let's kick it. We've hit all the topics tonight. We're here every week, where we try to be at least. We slacked off a little bit in the last 2 weeks, but I wouldn't say slacking off. We have life. And then when life gets in the way, we have to stop. So, but we're glad we're back this week. We've caught everything up halfway through most of the seasons, and we're going to keep going until the end. So,
Absolutely.
Sarah, thank you so much once again, as always, for being on. I couldn't do it without you. And where can they find you at if they want to get a hold of you on the internets?
You can find me on Twitter at MyLadyKitten. Sometimes you can find me on Instagram under the same handle as well. I can't, just like I said, that's where life is right there too. On the TikTok.
On the TikTok. I got to
Well,
follow you on TikTok.
because my 8-year-old daughter, she decides she's going to get an account. So I'm like, okay, well, we got to make sure you're not doing things stupid. And then, of course, the boy has one too. I'm like, oh, great. So, yes, that's why Mama's on the TikTok. And also, you'll be able to catch me on a couple of Slice of Films with Katie. She and I did a couple of episodes recently. So I'm sure they'll probably be dropping soon because it's always fun to chat with Katie on movies because we chase squirrels. Mainly it's my fault, but we always have a good time. I know we had talked about like a movie. I think that Gemini Holograms. I don't know if that one's dropped yet.
Gosh, you really gonna do Jim and the Holograms?
Yes.
I have 2 daughters, so yes, I'm allowed to know what that movie is. Actually,
I
I
grew
talked
up
to Katie.
with the Holograms. I grew up with the cartoon.
I hear you.
So that's why I want to talk about the new movie, that kind of thing. So it's an interesting discussion. We also talked about Free Guy, which,
Is that any good?
Dude.
I love Ryan Reynolds.
Dude.
So,
Dude.
I saw a movie with him
highly
recently.
recommend it.
Netflix, if you haven't watched it, there's a movie with him and Ben Kingsley. It's called like Selfless, I think is the name of the movie.
I was going to switch bodies.
Really, really good movie. Check it out. If you like Ryan Reynolds, really, really good movie. But
highly recommend Free Guy. Highly recommend it.
I'll check it out.
And then also we talked about Reminiscence. That's the Hugh Jackman film. I think it's on HBO Max. I don't know. It's been a minute since I've seen it. That's a really interesting one too. Really interesting one as well. So if you guys get opportunity when those episodes drop, I'd take a listen because we do talk about the movies. We do
A little bit, yeah.
as well. So, but we always have a good time. We always have a good time. So, but other than that, that's basically where you can find me.
Cool deal. Cool deal. Yeah, check all that stuff out. I know that I just texted Kitty yesterday, and we're gonna do a Pulp Fiction slice of film.
Ooh.
So
Has
she has not seen that movie. So
that's gonna be fun
one of my all-time favorite movies. Yeah, so it's gonna be, and that's what I do with Katie is I always take some of my all-time favorites, and I'm like, hey, have you seen this? No, okay, cool. Book me on Slice of Film because we're doing this movie.
Exactly.
So yeah, it's a great listen. It's always a really good time with Katie. Check it out. Hopefully she'll be back soon. You know, she's a guest here quite a bit, or host here quite a bit. But cool, yeah. Well, hit Sarah up whenever you get a chance. You know, she'll talk to you. So
that's how we ended up here.
That's right. Ross, you're like me. You're not a big social media guy. But if there is anywhere anybody can find you, is there at all? Or you pretty much just, I hear you. Yeah, you're like me. You're not a social media guy. You know, I gave up that stuff a long time ago, and I have my friends. And
I don't mess with that stuff.
Yeah. I'm the same kind of way, man.
All the dirtiness of it.
Mm-hmm. I got on Twitter to promote the podcast and to meet new people on, you know, that I met podcasting. It's been great, but I've been recently, you know, separating myself a lot from Twitter because social media is evil, y'all. Like,
it's crazy.
Sarah, I'm gonna follow you on TikTok, but even just if I get on TikTok for like an hour, like I'm a different person when I get off. Like, because yeah, whatever that algorithm tells, you know, them to show me, I'm watching and I'm like, oh, I'm into this, you know, and it's like I've been on social media. I need to stop. So it'll definitely.
I do recommend Instagram though. Instagram's a fun one. Instagram's a fun one. It's not that bad. It's because you can kind of pick and choose what you want to do. You don't really get inundated with any kind of like craziness.
Yeah. I might check it out, but that one's kind of coming past Instagram. It's been here. I haven't joined it yet, so I doubt I will. But yeah, and you can find me at the Bat Daddy 52 on Twitter. Speaking of social media, sometimes, yeah, I check it. I don't check it as much as I should. And then you can also check me out on at SCS Podcast 1 on Twitter. It's the show handle. I try to check those out every once in a while. We got some guests coming on in a few weeks, promoting a new comic book. It's going to be a really fun read, 80-page graphic novel. You know, and then continuing the shows of everything going on. We're here live every Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or almost every Friday night. If we can't do it, I try to put something out there letting everybody know. But hey, we're just friends talking about fun stuff, you know, and that's what we try to be. So
absolutely.
But I think we're set up for next week. We're going to continue the coverage. As far as I know it right now, everybody's good to go. And we're going to get out of here until then. So I guess for everybody else who's listening and everybody who's been on, thank you very much. And until next week, keep pounding. Football starts this week, y'all. Sunday, everybody should be busy. Hands down, period. Watching Carolina Panthers football. 1-0 against the Jets, baby.
Gotta keep up with my fantasy team because this is the first time I've done fantasy in probably 5 or 6 years.
I'm gonna send you a trade offer in a little while. Just so you know, you're not gonna do it. Hey, I started Dak over Brady, and it worked out. So I'm just my fantasy year is going well.
Oh no, Brady did pretty well for me.
Brady did do really well. He did very good, but Dak did just a little bit better. And I had both of them, and I started Dak. So. But anyway, enough football talk. That's the See-Through Panthers podcast. Live Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out there. But let's get out of here, y'all. Like I said, till next week. Keep pounding.
All right, fellas. Bye.
Later.